It's the final race of the regular season for the Area Cup Series, a cutoff race for the playoffs here at Talladega. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Vinny DeCuna, Hunter Sleppy, and Eric Wineland for what is the 12th race of the 2022 and 2023 winter season. Vinny, and welcome aboard. This is going to be a fun one tonight. Winning this race will lock you in if you're not already, but it is the last opportunity to get yourself in the championship hunt.
Yeah, absolutely, and we already have some drivers that have locked themselves in, both on wins and a few guys on points as well, but a lot of guys that still have yet to race their way in, and I'm also curious to see if we see anyone completely outside of the bubble, not even a thought of getting their chances in, and them getting a win here today and putting themselves locked into the playoff fight.
Well, back a season ago, Jordan Martin was able to accomplish that feat. He entered the race 19th in points, needed a win to lock himself into the postseason, and with 2 laps to go, he shot past Jake Nichols off turn 4 with Ryan Hartz and Jacob Bell right behind, and he wound up winning that race and locked himself in. And the current driver, 19th in points, is Talladega Ballas, so make of that what you will. But Eric, I am very excited for tonight's race.
Now, Eric Wineland just yet. We'll talk to him here in a couple of minutes. But as we get prepped for practice, qualifying, and then our 94-lap race, Finian, this is going to be a desperation move for a lot of drivers. Let's have a look here at the point standings coming into the night. There are 7 drivers locked into the standings, but one of those in particular, Ricky Springer, isn't as locked as that graphic might lead you to believe.
Yeah, no, he is technically locked in as far as, if he finishes the points in the top 20 in points, he will be locked in due to his win. However, he is barely in the top 20. He's currently sitting 18th, and he's got only about 7 points back to 20th place Chris Rabel. So if he drops out of the top 20, he will be out of the championship. So he's got to make sure he finishes the race in a semi-decent position today.
And look at how tight it is from 11th on down. I mean, Alex Weaver's in on a tiebreaker with Matthew Bell. Garrett Grant's only out by 2 points. Same with Greg Mitchell, although Greg Mitchell will not be here tonight, so that's going to open up a spot for someone to make their move in. And as you mentioned, if Ricky Springer gets caught up in a wreck, and outside the top 20 points, he's out, and that opens up another spot. So this is very crucial here. Tyler Nichols, only 1 point to the good. Rafe Slate, Shane Abbey, Delonte Ballard, Chris Rabel, all these guys, they can still race in on points, but it's going to be an interesting task here tonight. Got 94 laps at Talladega. Kyle, I'm really interested in how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I'm really interested as well. You'll notice on the left-hand side of the screen, the ticker's got some different coloration tonight. The blue are the drivers that are locked into the playoffs as they stand either a win or they have pointed their way in. The yellow drivers are those that are currently in the top 12 but do not have a win. They're not locked in. And then the red is everybody from 13th on back, those that are not locked in or not even close to the playoffs. You mentioned Tyler Nichols, 1 point out right now. He's got the 91 in front of him. And yes, the Elwood Designs guys did have to change the graphic to say times 7, Finian, with all the wins that Jake Nichols has locked up this season.
I mean, he's been absolutely dominating the calendar. I mean, once we actually get into the playoffs, definitely all eyes are going to be on him as the definite favorite to win the championship. He's been dominating it like we've not seen in any of the other two series that we have here, Lodge Bucks and the Truck Series. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on him. But even tonight, though, I'm not sure if we can necessarily keep an eye on him. He's doing well, obviously, in the timesheet, but the timesheets mean very little at Talladega.
Timesheets do mean very little unless it's single car qualifying, which we will get to in about 5 minutes or so. But Jake Nichols, he's got 7 wins to his name. Why not help out brother Tyler out? Although he is pretty good on points himself, Tyler Nichols is. A win definitely wouldn't help. It would hurt. Well, it wouldn't hurt. It would help a lot because you get those bonus points. And as we know in the playoffs, every position is a point, and those points are so crucial.
It's a good look at the start-finish line here. Of course, Talladega Superspeedway, well known for having that start-finish line well past the tri-oval. Makes for some very interesting finishes. Vinny and I think there's a whole lot of drivers in this field, over 30 of them. We are almost 40 cars in to our entry list tonight. But I think almost all 40 would just like to see the end of the race. So I think just getting to the checkers in first, that's not even the goal. It's just getting there in the first place.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of times in this season, we've had a lot of green-white checkers throughout all 3 series. So we'll see how it plays out here tonight. If we end up getting close to having a green-white checkered, or we may be able to see a finish play out. But the big thing, too, is not even just the caution coming out, as well as just having a wreck on the last lap on the white flag out. We see so many guys making really aggressive moves, going 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide, and causing a wreck and a lot of guys getting taken out, especially a lot of guys getting on the bubble. And that's really going to be the big key thing here is watching the guys on the bubble, in the championship, guys that are still on the outside looking in. Are they going to play it more aggressively, trying to race the win, or are they going to try to play a bit more conservative to make sure they finish?
That did happen last season in the Truck Series, where they wrecked on a green-white checkered. Kind of similar to here on the backstretch like they're doing now, but Cup Series, they went green for a number of laps and had to finish under green. Launch Box had a green-white checker, but it'll be interesting just seeing which drivers are going to put themselves in a scenario where either they're going to prevail and win or get caught up in a big one and possibly go upside down.
Couple drivers practicing pit lane entry. That's a pretty critical part of this event. We could probably expect a green flag stop or two along the way in this 94-lap event, which will take about an hour and a half, flag to flag. So drivers really trying that out, getting themselves slowed down, Finney, and we see drivers get penalties there all the time.
Yeah, and even, big mistake is the penalties, getting these things slowed down. They have the worst brakes they'll ever have all season long at any of the other tracks other than arguably Daytona and maybe even Atlanta. But so it's hard to get these things slowed down to that line. And also, big thing too, getting to slow down into the pit box. You see many guys at the super speedways, they overestimate how fast they need to come into their box, and they end up shooting the box. Then they have to worry about getting it in reverse, getting back in the box correctly, and they lose a valuable few seconds that they could end up losing the pack with.
And they could also spin out on pit road as well. And not only mention speeding on pit road, we could see some accidents here from drivers trying to get on the pit road, because I feel like this is going to happen at least once tonight. There's going to be one driver who doesn't get the message, and they're either going to get run into, or they will run into someone that's trying to get on the pit road, and that's going to create a crash. It can happen here. I just feel like there's one driver tonight that might not get that message.
Big group rolling out of the racetrack to get some practice laps in here before the start of the race. And, we talked about the dangers of pit lane. Let's talk about the dangers of that yellow line, guys. Finney, and that always comes into play here at the tail end of these races. The out-of-bounds area at Talladega, that could cause some issues as well.
Oh, absolutely, especially you can bring it down to the white flag lap. Everyone wants to make moves, and you're going to have to find, obviously where the physical line, we know where the physical line is, whereas, the metaphorical line of how far you can push the rules trying to make moves, that's extra real estate. It's technically out of bounds if you can try to get yourself a little bit below to make a move if the door is just a little bit open. People are desperate out here tonight. They'll do whatever it takes. May end up causing a black flag. I'll be interested in seeing if we do get into that scenario where you see someone making an illegal pass down below the yellow line. Getting a lot of stakes here tonight. May see someone try it.
If it's for the win, then they're going to be in the admin hauler for about an hour or so trying to dissect that. But it could either be the worst thing for you, or it could be your best friend, that double yellow line. Depends on where you are on the racetrack. But don't want to end up blocking too much, because one bad bump, one bad block, that's all it takes. And like we're seeing right here with JT Poole and Travis Beckner, they're trying to bump draft, but with the way these bumpers are, it's so curved. They can work down the straights, but when you're weaving that much, even on the straight, from Poole, if you're weaving that much in the middle of a corner, that's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Let's talk about teams and alliances, guys, coming into Talladega. No longer a restrictor plate track in terms of the restrictor plate. Of course, it's got that tapered spacer. But every time we come here, because of the increased drag and reduced horsepower, you have to make friends. You see right here in practice, they're pretending or already practicing how to be foes. But if you've got your teammates behind you, you're going to feel pretty safe when you get up to the tail end of this race. If you're by yourself, though, Finian, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to want to make friends. Obviously, most of these guys, they have their teammates backing them up. I would hope they have their teammates backing them up. But definitely, you want to make more friends besides your teammates. You want to make friends, hopefully you have some friends in the league in general that'll be willing to help you out, guys that know that they can trust you in the draft. And if not, just try to find out guys that, work well with you. You want to make sure that you have people that are willing to work with you when you make that move, you jump out of line, try to make a charge. They're willing to jump out of line as well and help pushing up, because you cannot make a move by yourself here with this package.
Well, if you have a big enough run, maybe, or if you're Martin Truex Jr. and you have, 3 seconds of pack, and you're on by yourself, you can catch a pack of cars. But it'll be interesting to see if any of the manufacturer alliances will play out. Now, I know this is a sim, but some drivers might be willing to work with other drivers depending on what manufacturer they run. Like if they run a Chevy and they don't really like Ford or Toyota, they'll just work with Chevy drivers. If you're just running a single car and you need someone to work with.
Cars on track now for qualifying, and of all the races this season, I think this is the least important. I think this is really just a race control formality more than anything else. I do like still qualifying up front to avoid any potential issues in the mid-pack in the early moments of the race, but we tend to see the intensity level pick up throughout the race, not so much at the initial start. I would actually be surprised if we had a big crash before about the 20-30 lap mark. So right now, you kind of just, if you've got teammates, you got a plan, the best thing you can do is be together. So if you're all going to start at the back or all going to start at the front, you all got to just hope that you end up where you need to be.
Yeah, we have seen the past few drivers just don't elect to qualify. They want to start a little bit further back just to kind of get themselves out of any potential danger. And it's other tracks I would say, you might as well, get a lap in, make some sort of attempt to get near the front. Here, it's definitely, a legitimate strategy, just like you said, just start in the back of the field. And I'm curious to see how many people do elect to just completely sit this qualifying session out.
I think if you're already locked in with a win, you might see some guys just start from the back. Like not even bother to put out a lap. You might see some of that there. But if you're any one of these guys who are must win to get in, close on points, you gotta qualify, get as many spots as you can, because hey, if you lead a lap, it's a bonus point. If you keep it clean, though, that's the most important thing. If you could somehow keep it clean here at Talladega, that's another couple of bonus points that could determine if you're locked into the postseason or not.
There is Michael Sturgill, currently top of the board on lap number 1. Typically, qualifying at Talladega is a 2-lap affair, where lap 2 is a little quicker than lap number 1. Seth Noel on track hasn't yet set a time. Cosmo Nunishiwu goes 6th quick. Ricky Springer, the Atlanta winner, runs 2nd. And Finian already touched on how important it is for him just to have an okay night. Just don't lose points, because if he falls outside of the top 20, he's not going to be able to use that win for his playoff advantage. So he's locked in because of that win. He's top 20 in points, but he's not that far away from falling out of it.
He really needs to make sure he has a clean and solid race. Is one of those guys out there for qualifying. Will definitely not get pulled. Currently sitting provisionally in 2nd place in behind Michael Sturgill, and actually just got booted to 3rd. Chris Rabel jumping up to 2nd in the 29.
When looking back here at the track record with the old car of season 1, they ran the Gen 6 car, 51.283. Safe to say they will not reach that at all. But Michael Sturgill, Chris Rabel, Connor Okrezik. Now, Okrezik wouldn't lock himself in, but he could steal a win from any one of these guys that are trying to lock themselves in if they're a must-win and in scenario. So you got to keep out for those guys. And I'd keep out for Brad Slaughter and Jordan Martin as well. We already mentioned Jordan Martin won a season ago. Brad Slaughter won this race back in season 1, and he won the Area 500 a season ago. So he knows a thing or two in that 88 car. He knows a thing or two about winning at these super speedways.
There he is in the bottom of the racetrack, coming back to the start-finish line. This is going to be lap number 1 in the books, 53.645. It'll be good enough for about 10th spot, and that's all he's going to get out of this one. James Scioli is on track and rolling back up to speed with 1 lap already started. Jonathan Cogswell, Delonte Ballard on track. There's Ballard down the back straightaway on his first lap.
Yeah, interesting to note with James Scioli, he's kind of just cruising on the back straightaway at 107 miles an hour, which is a bit interesting. We've seen that in sometimes where guys just take the first lap very easily and the warm-up lap, and then they start to get a little bit faster just to kind of save their equipment a little bit. Looking at Ballard now coming out of turn 4, see where he ends up in the 21 machine. And it looks like actually most guys are getting out there to put a lap down.
Something to keep an eye on, and something else to keep an eye on. As mentioned, Jordan Martin won this race from 19th in points a season ago. Delonte Ballard, the driver currently 19th in points, and look at that, he's on the top of the board.
To the top at a 53.579. Delonte Ballard takes the 21 to the pointy end, and noticeably, there's only 2 locked-in drivers in the top 15 here in qualifying, and that kind of goes back to Hunter, what Hunter was saying about maybe some of the locked-in drivers wanting to start at the rear here, Finian, but we'll see if Jake Nichols goes up to the top.
Indeed, we will. Currently, I think Jonathan Cogswell has jumped up to the top of the 26 machine. Jake Nichols has been on the pointy end many times this season so far. 3 times, in fact. We'll see if he can meet time number 4 as he comes flying through the tri-oval down below the yellow line.
Not quite.
only up to 10. That's I would say the disappointing, but I mean, I'm sure he doesn't really care at this point. 7 wins, he doesn't really have a lot to worry about tonight.
He's just racing this as a formality, Hunter.
Indeed. Speaking of 7, there is the 7 of James Skyle. He's kind of like Finian said, just cruising around the racetrack. In the midst of that, Jonathan Cogswell actually dethroned Galante Ballard for that pole spot with a 53.5, and Doug Newbegin jumped up to 3rd as well. Jeff Ryan, Tommy Ryan, you see both of the Ryans there. Keep an eye out for Tommy Ryan. He won in the quote-unquote super speedway style race at Atlanta for the Lodge Box Series.
Ooh,
So
Jeff Ryan actually just tagged the wall in turn 2.
Ooh. Tommy Ryan, a little off-track excursion in the grass, and not going to help him go very quick. 54.198. Ryan Hart's being back up to speed here. He's going to go around for a second try. He's locked in already, so not a lot of stress on the 3. There's a handful of drivers: Matthew Bell, Alex Weaver, Garrett Grant, Palacino, Gabriel Ellison, who have not even loaded onto the racetrack just yet.
Yeah, it's in fact actually both the Ryans, because one having an off-track excursion, one hitting the wall on their second lap. They will both be starting from the back. No time for either of them, as you look at Ryan Hart out on the track, starting his warm-up lap.
And while the 3 rolls around for his warm-up lap, the 33, David Weishart, who is not so focused on the playoffs, he's already in pretty good shape for that. He's looking forward to stepping away from full-time racing, made that bombshell announcement earlier this week. Eric Wineland caught up with him.
All right, Alfini and Hunter, I'm down here with David Weishart, currently qualified for the Area Cup Series playoffs, but made a big announcement ahead of this race. DWR, David Weishart Racing, will cease its Cup operations at the conclusion of Area Season 3. This season, DWR will continue to field a truck and launch box team with a full driver lineup. Lineups to be announced at a later date, pending the season finale in a few weeks' time in Nashville. But driver David Weishart here also announcing with this DWR announcement that he is retiring from full-time Cup Series competition in the Area Cup Series. So David, I'm going to lead off right there. The announcement came out via Twitter, and kind of a shock to some of us in the community. What led to this decision to decide to step away from full-time Area Cup competition?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't enjoy racing this car anymore, to be just 100% frank. I don't know if it's different from last season or what they've done, but I was a huge defender of this car at first, and it's hard to race something you don't enjoy racing, don't enjoy driving. So that's why I'm stepping away from it. No guarantee I won't be back at some point in the future, but for sure, at least for the next season or two, definitely not running full-time in Cup.
Well, you beat me to my next question. I was going to ask, is this goodbye or is this until another time for David Weishart in Area Cup Series?
I'll probably run some of the major events like the Area 500, Southern 500. I'll poke my head in for those races, but as far as full-time competition, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit and probably just back it off to one series. So that's the plan for right now. We'll see what the future holds.
Any details to the Lodge Box or truck team? Are you gonna take your full-time aspirations to one of the other 2 series in Area?
As of right now, the way it's looking, the only series I'll be full-time in is trucks. This season I'm full-time, but I'm not a points driver. But I will be a points driver next season for DWR, the team I own, and that's about as much as I can say on that right now. Like you said, we'll have some announcements coming out either towards the end of the season or right after the season ends.
Alrighty, well, this announcement came one race before the playoffs start here in Area Cup Series competition. Does this decision and situation put any additional pressure on you for the Cup Series season and the Cup Series playoffs? I mean, this is going to potentially be your last hurrah in the Cup Series playoffs, at least for a while, as you said. Do you have any additional pressure to go out and win a championship this season?
No, not really, man. It's actually pretty relieving. Even going back to my extreme days, I've had I ran Cup for a long time over there, and I've ran Cup all 3 seasons over here. I've won 3 titles, a handful of Final Fours. So I've had my fair share of success. I'm just going to go out and enjoy the last 5 races of it. and yeah, just go out and have fun.
Well, switching gears to tonight's race at Talladega for the Area Cup Series, you are already locked in. Your teammate James Scioli at DWR is also locked in, and none of the other DWR drivers are really in contention to either win their way in or point their way in. So what's the game plan tonight? I'm obviously you guys want to go out and score more playoff points, but do you guys have any other tricks up your sleeve? Are you guys helping anyone around the cut line to try to make it into the playoffs?
Well, to be honest with you, we really haven't made up a plan for tonight. Really, the only plan is to go out and try to lead every lap, try to get DWR, try to get them in control of the race, and hopefully have one of us four in contention to win the race there at the end.
Alrighty, David. Well, I appreciate the time. Best of luck tonight here in the Area Cup Series race at Talladega before the playoffs get started next week.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, thank you, man.
And some big news there.
Guys, that's David Weishart, driver of the number 33 Chevrolet Camaro here in the Area Cup Series. Well, locked into the playoffs, but final hurrah here in the Area Cup Series, at least full-time competition in 2023.
All right, thanks, Eric. And yeah, some bombshell news there from the number 33 camp, but wish him the best of luck in the tail half of this season. But we're about to go racing here tonight from Talladega. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. And our starting grid sponsor, fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Time to kick things off with the starting lineup here, Finian. On row number 1, it's Jonathan Cogswell, the 26, grabbing pole position. He'll start alongside Delonte Ballard's number 21 Toyota.
Sorry about that, I have my mic muted. In third place will be Douglas Newbing in the 71. Michael Sturz will be rolling off in fourth in the 17.
Starting in row number 3, in fifth will be Rafe Slate's number 8. Not currently in the playoffs, but who is Travis Beckner, Area 500 winner. Last time we were at a big plate track, Beckner was the winner. Let's have a look at row number 4.
Back behind them, it's going to be Chris Rabel in the 7th place in the 29 machine. Connor Kresik in the 14. We lined up in 8th place.
Row 5, 2 drivers locked in. Ryan Hart's in the 3. Ricky Springer's number 18 rolls off 10th.
Right behind them, another driver locked in. Jake Nichols in the 91 will be in 11th place. JT Poole in the 32 will be out on the outside in 12th place.
In 13th place, Seth Noel's number 1. Dwayne Culberson rolls off 14th in the number 81.
Back behind them, Danny Ware in the 00 in 15th. Driver on the bubble, Tyler Nichols in the 41 in 16th.
17th place is Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 88. Jordan Martin starts 18th in the number 11.
We got 2 drivers on the bubble, Cosmo and Shiwa in 19th and 84. Gabriel Ellison, the 27, in 20th next to him.
21st place, Andrew Player. He's on the outside looking in. Michael Curhan, though, he's on the inside, trying to stay inside in 22nd.
Back behind them, Tom Bourne in the 16 car in 23rd. Bryce Senezek's going to be in the 09 in 24th next to him.
25th place is James Scioli. He is well locked in. So is Dom DeLeo's number 22. He rolls off 26th.
Back behind them, Aaron Smith's going to be lined up in the 72 machine in 27th. Ryan Swan will be lined up in the 19 next to him in 28th.
29th place, Jacob Bell's number 77, and David Weishart, who just announced his retirement from full-time Cup Series racing next season. He starts 30th.
Back behind them in 51 will be Mark Patterson in the 31st. Next to him in 32nd, Chris Sidefight in the 45.
Starting behind them, 33rd is Ed Robertson's number 64. Matthew Bell starts 34th in the number 9.
Al Valenzuela is going to be rolling off in the 70 car in 35th. And then next to him, Alex Weaver on the bubble, all the way back in 36. He's got a long day ahead of him.
Shane Abbey starts 37th alongside Tommy Ryan back in 38th.
Rounding out your final row will be Garrett Grant in the number 5 machine in 39th, and Jeff Ryan rounding out your field of 40 cars in the 37 machine.
All right, 194 laps. Who you got your money on tonight? It's playoff night. This is the last last regular season race, so this is your last chance to get in. Who's on the outside that's going to be in after this one?
Well, he won't be in, but I'm going with Ryan Swan here, a bit of a wild card. He won in Season 1 in the trucks, last season won in the Lodgebox Series. I feel like he's going to get it done in the Cup Series tonight.
And Eric Wineland, who you got winning this thing tonight?
Oh, this one's a tough one. It's such a wild card thing. I'm going to pick, let's just throw a dart at the wall, Seth Noel in the number 1.
I like that pick. Finney, anybody that's on your favorites list tonight?
21 Dante Ballard. I think he's going to get it and lock himself in.
Here we go. 94 laps. Last regular season race of the 2022-2023 season. Green flag flies. And here we go. Talladega. Lap 1 almost complete. Beckner out front. Delonte Ballard on the bottom in second. Connor Okresic swings high as they come across the start-finish line. 3 wide, 4 rows deep as they come to the start-finish.
Yeah, these guys are not letting off at all. They're already starting to go at it. I thought it would take a little bit of time to boil. Okresic was getting turned around by Martin on the outside lane. It's starting to get sketchy out there.
That's a worry. Don't want to bump in the corners. These bumpers are not flat. They are curved. One bad bump could mean a big wreck. We almost saw it there on lap 2. Here comes Springer in the middle, going to leave Hartz on the outside.
Oh, big check up there on the outside lane. The 11 and 32 got together again. It seems like there's a lot of shifting and shuffling going on in that upper groove as they stand, but now down out of turn number 4, that inside lane beginning to pull away and single file out.
Yeah, and actually the inside lane now is getting stuck. The outside lane starting to build some momentum. Ryan Hart's 11 in the 32. JT Poole, all nose to tail. They're starting to make some really solid progress on the outside lane.
Well, as soon as they got it down from 3 lanes to 2, it is wide enough to do 3. Doesn't mean you have to do it right away. So that middle lane is gone. You got the top and you got the bottom. Top being led by Ryan Hartz and the bottom being led by Travis Becker.
Nice orderly lines. As I mentioned, I expect this to kind of be the case here for the first handful of laps. Remember, on the left-hand side of the screen, the drivers that are in blue are locked into the playoffs. The drivers that are in yellow are currently in the top 12, but not locked. And the red is everybody else that's trying to race their way in tonight, either on points or with a win, which if you're in the top 20, a win gets you in.
Yeah, it really is going to be big to see who's going to be up near the top by the end of it. And see, I'm curious to see, too, what the way these guys are running right now. We got one lane all the way on the bottom by the line, and another lane all the way up top by the wall. Do we dare see anyone try to go to the middle? The good old-fashioned sucker hole arguably has returned, especially with how much side draft there is with these cars.
Hey guys, I got a report here from Pit Road. Race control had to clear a black flag for the 21 of Delonte Ballard. Looks like he picked up a start violation, I guess. Race control was informed in all area series, including the Cup Series, about some issues with the restart zones after the latest iRacing patch last Monday. And it looks like they went ahead and cleared it again with tonight's incident. They're basically ruling it if it's an unjust takeoff. If the driver on the outside does try to gain an advantage, they'll leave the penalty. Otherwise, they'll clear it.
Good to know. Thanks, Eric. And a little bit more 3 wide going on in the background. The 32 is one of them. The 18 of Ricky Springer, kind of all by himself, went to the upper groove. Now has some help in the form of the 8 of Rafe Slate. We're 3 wide again for about 15th spot.
Yeah, it looks like it's all about to get sorted out, and there you can see finally the 3 has a chance to pull in. He's going to stay out there for just a little bit longer, but pretty much dead now. Finally back double file. Also to make note, we're looking at this leading group. There's a big second group of cars in behind these guys from 22nd on back. So it's really a tale of 2 packs at the moment.
That's being led by Chris Seinfeld with Scioli, David Weishart, and it looks like that's Ryan Swan there in the 19s. Guys don't want to be in trouble just yet, so they're just tailing back. They're going to watch the action unfold either right in front of them or right behind them because they are 2 and 3 wide right behind. Slate led that lap. Here comes the outside lane.
Alan Ballacino gave a big shove there, big arrow shove to the 3. The 88 of Brad Slaughter Jr.'s kind of sucker hold here, but look at Rafe Slate, power to the lead. Travis Beckner and Ricky Springer now side by side. We looked for a moment as Ryan Hartz thought about going to driver's right of the 32, but he did not. Able to stay tucked nose to tail now with Slaughter. No help in the middle.
It's Seth Noel now diving to the outside lane. Huge run from JT Poole. He gives a shove to the one. You can see how much momentum they gained from that. Now the sucker all forming in the middle. Ray Slate, Ricky Springer, Brad Slaughter starting to drop back a little bit. I was looking at Ricky Springer pushing the back of Ray Slate one lap ago as he came out of turn 4. Gave a huge shove, almost turned the number 8 as they were trying to make some moves to the front of the field.
Well, that's just how fast things can change here at Talladega. You go from 2-lane racing to 3-lane racing, and the bottom lane, which was the most dominant lane a lap ago, is now losing ground. The outside lane is going like there's no tomorrow. Seth Noel right on board with him here. JT Poole's pushing that man, and Ryan Hartz is sitting there in third.
Have to worry about the heavy pushes here this early in the race. Drivers haven't yet had time to get used to this yet in this pack with the arrow all moving around and everything, so you have to be cautious not to push too hard too early. Michael Curhan pops out of line there a little bit off the nose of that was the 88 of Brad Slaughter Jr. Just behind him is the 91 of Jake Nichols, points leader, 7 wins on the season. Started this race in 11th and looks like he's just hanging out back here with Yonoshiwu and others.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, you can't help to just kind of hang out for a bit. There's really not a whole lot of forward progress being made at the moment, especially now the guys are starting to ride on the top lane because they're getting such good runs out of the corner. So I do see some guys getting hooked up on the bottom lane. I see Donzie Ballard, Michael Sturgill trying to see if they can make a run forward.
It's interesting to note Jake Nichols has yet to win on any of these super speedway races, so maybe he, even though he's already got 7 wins on the year, wouldn't hurt to add one more. It just adds to the playoff points that we have going into next week. And like I mentioned, it will be his first super speedway win in area. Looking back up front, Ryan Hart stuck down to the bottom. Seth Noel gonna lock him as well. Now it's just JT Poole and Balancino on the outside with, look who, last season's winner, Jordan Martin.
Lots of shuffling around, a little bit more than I would have thought. Big crossover there from the 32 to the 70. The 11 of Jordan Martin drops in line. Eric Wineland, this is getting pretty wild up here.
Yeah, guys, and well, it's not as wild in the comms for the teams. Just listen into this radio from Lucky Duck Motorsports. This is Aaron Smith II, Douglas Newbigin, Gabriel Ellison, Jonathan Cogswell, Michael Sturgill, all getting in on the fun.
I've managed to lose the draft in five laps into the race, so that's
I don't
great.
know if you know or not, but I can see the air.
Can't see that. When do you run your Dale car?
Because I run whatever John tells me to run.
Ah, sure. Nice and fit in Talladega.
You can see the air. I can see the back of the guy in 28th. We are not the same.
So the guys in the Lucky Duck Motorsports group having a little bit of fun out here. Gabriel Ellison, 28th. He is plus 21 at the cut line tonight. So he can afford to be back there, but that pack was trailing the lead pack by a little bit. Looks like they're starting to close the gap now as he is only 3 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That's pretty funny stuff. But, what's interesting is that bottom lane kind of was the advantage for a little while. Then we had a pretty racy kind of 3-wide pack, and now we're back to this bottom feeding dominance here, Finian. So kind of a tale of 2 races so far in the first 10 laps.
Absolutely, it's crazy to see this kind of unfold and just seeing the different lanes at play here for these guys. And there's been so much ebb and flow. Usually you have 2 lanes, guys kind of slowly transitioning between both of them in the Lodge Box and the Truck Series, but with these guys, constantly the lanes have been shifting. One lane's been dominant, one lane's completely disappeared, and the guys have been going up and down, making runs, trying to figure out which way to go, but there is no clear direction and no clear path forward.
Riding aboard with Mark Patterson here. Right at the beginning of that, we saw Brad Slaughter get a little squirrely there in the middle, almost saw the big one happen right there. That's why we see single file for most of the drivers up front, but back here mid-pack, kind of the place you don't want to be in. It's kind of, well, they were 3 wide. Now they're starting to get more double wide. Jordan Martin making it 3 wide. Now we got some cars moving from the bottom to the front up towards the front of the field. It's Seth Noel, JT Poole, and Travis Beckner.
Yeah, they're not satisfied kind of running nose to tail. Someone pops out of line. Not going to be a lot of patience tonight. We're going to get racy. This is going to make this a lot of fun to watch, but also very volatile for most of the evening. Here comes the one of Seth Noel with help from the 32. JT Poole has been on it tonight, and to their outside comes a 3rd row that's building some momentum with Ricky Springer in command.
And just seeing where they can go here, if they're going to continue marching forward there. It looks like they're starting to lose momentum already. Ballachino and that outside lane, Ricky Springer, they're starting to drop back. Here comes Brad Slaughter. Major run up the middle. Going to look to the outside of Travis Beckner. Beckner going to try to come down low. He's going to stay in front of the 3 Hearts and see what Slaughter's going to do. Is he going to stay on the top lane or ditch for the bottom?
Well, this is interesting now. Beckner in the middle. The outside lane looks like it's got 4 cars. Whoa, that is Connor Okrezik there in the 14. Nearly got into the 3 there of Ryan Hartz. Now they're shuffling more up towards the front. Springer in the middle. Slaughter went low. Now he's getting sucker trained down on the bottom, but still lean on the outside. Now down to the bottom. It's Seth Noel. JT Poole leads that top. Oh, we almost, oh my goodness, they're cutting it close here.
And that 14 was here, there, and everywhere. One car, Ed Robertson, touches the wall in turn 1. It's getting frantic here in the mid-pack. This is for about 15th spot. 2, 3 wide and touching each other, bouncing off of quarter panels and things, Finney, and down the back straightaway, it's getting tight.
Oh, it actually looks like Ryan Hartz is going to back out of it. You can see him there dropping down below the yellow line. He's had enough. He's going to jump to the back, saying, you guys can wreck yourself. I'm going to just hang out in the back of the field.
He's got nothing to lose as well. He's already locked in, but imagine those guys up there like Seth Noel, JT Poole. They have everything to lose. They're trying to get into the postseason. They want to win and be in to the playoffs. But Ryan Hartz, well, he didn't really drop to the back. He dropped to mid-pack, but he's behind the mess that was right where he was at.
Maybe feels safer just having less behind him than he did before.
Yes.
But Seth Noel, Ricky Springer now battling for position, and only 2 drivers in the top 12 are in the playoffs there. 13th place Kurhan is on the bubble and fighting for it right now. Yonoshiwu down in 26th has some work to do if he wants to make sure that he stays in. But look at Springer and Noel again, getting pretty racy up here, and that's no one up here is cooperating, Finney, and that's leading to this kind of spirally madness here up at the front.
Oh, they're about to wreck here with the way they're going at. Ricky Spring's been making some aggressive moves, and now Brad Slaughter's made aggressive move to the inside to kind of get him stuck in the middle. He's starting to drop back, and now a little 3-car breakaway into the front. Ballachino pulled Noel, trying to break away from the field.
Just about to say, they're having a little breakaway forming. Got 3 cars in a single file formation. Then Dom DeLeo trying to lead the charge with the rest of the field going 2 or 3 wide behind. And Eric got an update from us on pit road.
Hey guys, so the conversation's already underway for fuel. Here's radio from the Jacob Bell racing team, specifically Ryan Hartz, about 3 to 4 laps ago, talking about being out front.
I think I might back out. I don't want to be up here leading because I don't want to burn this fuel.
I'm just riding down Mark, honestly. Mark's done a really good job. He got us all the way back into the lead draft, and he's just chilling.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I really haven't been full throttle since this race started.
So that was Ed Robertson saying he hasn't been full throttle. Ryan decided to bail from the lead as we saw, and Jacob Bell thankful for Mark Patterson as that entire group was able to drive back up into the lead pack. Mark Patterson already working his way up toward the top 10, currently P12.
Yeah, interesting to note that that bailout wasn't because he was uncomfortable. It was just because of a fuel situation, guys. We talked about the ability for this race to go green pretty far. 16 laps into this race, we've already checked off a whole bunch of miles because this place is so long. So keeping an eye on your fuel strategy and knowing that being out front, you're going to burn more fuel, Finian, that's pretty smart for the number 3 to keep in mind already.
Oh, absolutely. And again, any fuel saving is going to really help around here. You want to just try, any little bit helps. You can never really save too much gas around here. It can help you just get that little extra mileage you need, especially depending on where the cautions come up, where they lie. It can help you big time strategy-wise.
Yeah, one thing it could be fuel. Another thing is probably getting out of the mess because it's, well, as soon as I say it's calmed down now, they're trying to go 3 wide, Jordan Martin in the middle. But yeah, fuel is going to be a little bit of a concern if we have a long green flag run. Last season, we had 4 yellows for 12 laps, so it's definitely a possibility we could have some green flag pit stops.
I would have to imagine that last season, probably those yellows were spaced closer to the end of the race than they were the beginning. That's kind of the way things go. Is you get long green flag runs, you get one maybe big wreck in the middle, and then it's boom, boom, boom after that towards the end. I think we'll see a similar pattern here. But right now, Seth Noel ripping the high lane here. That outside groove continues to be a pretty stout place to hang out. The inside lane behind Brad Slaughter Jr., their momentum has not been building as strongly as perhaps I'd expect.
No, it's kind of surprising to just kind of see, again, how often these guys have been ping-pong between each lane, how much the runs have been building up and dying between both lanes. One's not clearly the better one. You could argue the top lane's doing well. As soon as you see the top lane doing well, you see these guys, Ed Robertson, Brad Slaughter, charging hard, arguably too hard. It's almost wrecking coming out of turn 2.
And Ed Robertson trying to get all he can. Brad Slaughter, the beneficiary from that, leading that charge on the bottom. You can just see how much of a difference it makes in the middle of the corner. Down the straights, it's that outside lane, but in the middle of the corner, it's that bottom lane. And it's brought him all the way up to the first 2 spots.
Just like that, Brad Slaughter Jr. takes the lead away. Comes out of turn number 4. Now Robertson tucks to the inside. He'll snag it with Delonte Ballard behind him. One big checkup on the bottom, and wow, big slide. Ballacino to the left, Noel to the right. They gather it up and carry on.
Yeah, Ballacino's trying to work to the outside of Noel, and Noel's trying to work to the outside of Brad Slaughter. They were almost 4 wide there for a second. Ballacino bailed out. Now it's up to Noel, the biggest loser out of that, because he's dropping back. No one's working with him on the top lane.
I was going to say biggest loser is JT Poole. Everybody went to the middle but him, leaving him in the sucker hole. Now Jordan Martin pushing Seth Noel, trying to get that 3rd lane going, or are they going to try and tuck back in line behind Springer here? Meanwhile, Brad Slaughter continuing the lead. That 3rd lane starting to come back a little bit. JT Poole, Connor Okrezik. Now the middle lane's going back to the outside here, Kyle.
Yeah, it's been pretty frantic stuff the last couple of laps here. And look at the one, go back to the middle now with help from JT Poole, who's been a big helper tonight. In terms of our fuel run, we're really already halfway through our fuel run. Realistically, 30 to 40 laps on a fuel tank is what we can expect, so probably around 33 to 35 savings. You might be able to go a little bit, a little bit more than 30 laps, so 33 maybe is on the low end here, but look at this, 3 wide again for the top spot. Ballacino with help from Dom DeLeo on the outside, Robertson on the bottom, and the 88 in the middle.
Very close quarters as well. Everyone knows to tail guy. We talk about not pushing the pusher. These guys are really flirting with that, with the 3rd car coming in behind and giving just a little bit of a nudge, not to try to upset the car, but give a little bit of a nudge and momentum boost forward.
Well, they don't want to nudge too much because that could spark a crash here. But Ballacino leading the outside, Seth Noel in the middle. And look, JT Poole's back right where he left off. Running on board here, looks like that is Jonathan Coxwell. He's right behind all this action.
A scary sight to see just up the road, 3 cars wide, and you know that they can't see really anything that he can see, and he sees how wild and hornet's nesty this is. The 64 gets shoved out of the line to the inside. He's got to bail and blend back in, but I think he's doing this on purpose, Sidian.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of these guys are coming up here, they're fighting out, trying to maybe lead a lap or 2, and then deciding there's not really much point staying up here, and considering how aggressive is at the moment, just choosing to drop on back to right now for a couple laps, at least till green flag pit stops. And like we mentioned, we're about halfway through the fuel run, arguably 2/3 of the way through the fuel run. And might start to see pit stops soon, and guys preparing for the pit stops.
Seems like Ed Robertson went to the Ryan Hart School of saving fuel. Just drop out of line up towards the front and regroup in the middle of the pack. And speaking of the middle of the pack, Eric Wiley got an update for us.
All right, guys, I picked up some radio from Solar Flare Racing. They everyone else is having fun, but Delonte Ballard was all about intensity right here.
Top lane starting to die slowly, but Ed Robertson can't hold it, and he's all over the place pushing Brad.
That'll do it.
That'll do. That's the Solar Flare weekly swear jar.
Well, I mean, nah, he's good.
Well,
it's
dollars
just
at this point, boys.
I don't know if he's getting anxious or because he can't see or what.
Our funding's gonna get cut by half next season.
So while Dwayne Culverson, Jake Nichols, and others are having fun, Juan's all business right now up there in the top 5. He was not too happy with the way Ed Robertson was moving around trying to push Brad Slaughter. Obviously, that changed as Ed bailed out because he was not comfortable. Seth Noel and JT Poole to the point.
Well, so much of this is just a trust operation, right, Finney? When you get to these races and, you're confident in your own driving ability, but you have to be able to trust everybody else. And that means if they're moving around and shaking and weaving, it makes you nervous. It makes you second guess the moves that you're making. And that's frustrating. A quarter into this race, not even, you want to be able to trust everybody, but not being able to makes your life harder.
Yeah, I mean, this entire race is basically a whole bunch of trust falls with the other drivers you're racing with. So much is out of your hands. This is why we talk about this being a great equalizer, because everyone gets equalized, pushed together, you guys moving forward, and you're all so close together that, you know, one driver makes a mistake, you're going to be taking out a few other guys with you. You just got to have to hope and pray everyone does exactly what they need to do, be exactly where it needs to be, otherwise you see these big wrecks happening.
Well, the majority of the field is single file. Got some there trying to form a second lane up top, but for the most part, it seemed to have calmed down. Balancino taking the lead down the back. Someone else just dropped from the back. I think it's Brad Slaughter in the 88.
Indeed, he's going to drop down below the yellow line, blend back in behind the 71 of Douglas Newbegin. That will leave Balancino, Springer, Connor Okrezik out front on the high lane. Seth Noel paired up with JT Poole on the bottom, and Rafe Slate real close to the wall in the 5.
Whoa.
Pulls out a line.
Stops.
Garrett Grant and others coming to pit lane.
Interesting.
Ooh. Well, Seidenfein almost got into the bumper of Bryce Senesac there, but did not expect pit stops this early.
I don't think anybody was expecting pit stops this early. Eric, what you got?
I absolutely was, boys, because these guys are running this race in reverse. We are 70 laps from the finish of this race, and all the DWR boys decided 35 laps is the magic number for a tank of gas. They're going to go ahead and get it now so they can take one more stop to the end of this race. That'll be the halfway point of their stint, 35 laps. Everybody, 4 tires and fuel, clean off of pit road, save for 2 drivers. Got themselves a speeding penalty. Brad Slaughter Jr. in the 88 and the 33 of David Weishart. Big no-nos here to Super Speedway.
Oh, man. Well, not too early or not too late in this race, I guess, to get a comeback from that, but that'll bite you. We talked about that in practice. Coming down into pit lane too quick, getting yourself a penalty. But yes, running this like a road course, Eric, a really interesting strategy.
You know, this is going to separate them from the pack. They may feel that they can do a better job out there by themselves, drafting together in one giant line versus being in a 2-wide pack like the pack has been. But others to note coming down pit road right here, the Jacob Bell Racing boys, Ryan Hartz, Jordan Martin, Jacob Bell, Ed Robertson, all down pit road this time by. Everyone 4 tires fuel, no black flags for them on their entries, although I think Jordan smoked his tires on the entry. They're down and away clean. They're going to go ahead and rejoin, try to tag on to the David Weishart Racing group as they are coming by through the tri-oval now past me, down to you guys, where this group may try to stretch their legs as a single file line compared to the 2-wide front pack.
There is the field with Seth Noel leading, bearing down on them through turns 1 and 2, and got to get back up to speed here and see the 11. He is clear up onto the racetrack now, and you're going to try to break up this incoming momentum the best you can. Here comes Garrett Grant to the outside. The 64 is going to give him a shot, get him up to speed now, and they're going to get back into a little pack here of at least 4 drivers.
Yeah, 4 drivers and then a few more stragglers in behind. You see everyone in that group trying to form out the guys at pit, and there's a leading group, everyone led by Seth Noel. Seeing if any more people coming down to pit lane. Looks like for the most part we started to stop this little pit stop sequence here. I don't think any more takers here. No one's saying anything.
Oh, trouble! The 32 across the racetrack into the outside wall. The 70's in it. The 14's in it. The 99, the 37. Caution is out, and a crash on the front straightaway.
Wow. Did not see that coming. That's not at all what JT Poole needed. The Ryan brothers are in it. Balancino spinning in the grass. Man, oh man.
Holy cow. Have a look.
Yeah, I was kind of watching a little bit to see what happened there. It looked like it started with Connor Okrezik in the 14.
Let's go back a little bit further here. Catch where this all started. Watch the 14 right here out of turn 4. Gets into the back of the 70. Catches the 32, and then they just spin across the racetrack into the outside wall. The 99 and 37 have nowhere to go. Big impact there for Tommy Ryan. And Balancino gets just absolutely drilled in that right rear quarter panel.
Interested in seeing, just take a look here at this wreck one more time. Yeah, in order for a lot of these guys to go, 22 Don DeLeo got really lucky that they ended up wrecking up a high. He was able to just sneak down low to avoid it.
Oh.
Yeah, for the 99, he had nowhere to go, just went straight into it. Couldn't see with the smoke.
Whew. Ooh.
Man.
Boy, oh boy, that was That was really close for Dom DeLeo there.
Yeah, that was just huge impacts for the number 70. Watch this right side impact again. Gets nose first here, then right there. Just gets wobbled once, twice. Throw the 37 in that mix, and then the 72 did a phenomenal job.
Wow, Aaron Smith, yeah, great job slowing down for the wreck. You know, usually we see people trying to gas out to miss it, and usually failing at that, but rarely do we see guys just coming to a complete stop so well to avoid it.
Trying to grab him there as there's pit stops underway right now, so it's hard to get a hold of him. Here it is.
Hey boys, everybody down here, 4 tires and fuel here on pit road. JT Poole pitted right in front of me. Seth Noel down and away as well. These guys pretty much put right back on the same strategy as the Weishart guys, and it's one stop from here. Expect them to hit anywhere between, I'd say, 33 to 36 to go later on in the race if there are no more yellows. But with this intensity down here on the racetrack, guys, I expect a couple more yellows throughout the night.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. But what did I say earlier, guys? We get our first caution somewhere between lap 20 and lap 30. I think I should queue up the lottery numbers right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's it, over $1 billion?
Mega Millions is drawing for over $1 billion tonight.
Well, I should give that a shot. You know?
Go buy your ticket.
Whoa. One car,
hello.
Seth Noel. Is he checked out there for a moment? This is now, you know, we joke about this, but this has happened a couple of times in SimTV history where the long yellows at plate tracks, they'll lead to, you know, drivers checking their phones or, you know, they got their attention elsewhere, and we have seen people drive into each other under caution at these restrictor plate tracks for a variety of reasons.
Wow, I was just watching the replay of that. He just was going straight for a second, I think probably distracted with something in real life, and then you'll see this was very close to being a complete complete disaster right here. Going straight. Oh, God!
That'll happen.
Yeah, that was closer than I thought. I mean, I didn't realize he was going that fast coming out of pit road. I mean, right there, but...
Don't actually drive, kids.
Eric Wineland caught up with another driver here before the kickoff of the race. Eric, what you got?
I've managed to lose the draft,
Wrong button. That is not the correct radio for you guys.
That was an interesting interview.
That is not the. I was trying to get you guys Ricky Springer, and at this point, I'm not sure I'm going to get it all in before the green flag flies here for the restart. Kyle, you still want to hear Ricky Springer?
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? We'll just let it roll. They can't crash on the restart, can they?
Yeah.
I would beg to differ, but okay, we'll go ahead and roll. So here, I caught up with Ricky Springer pre-race prior to this intense event he's about to partake in. He's only plus 10 to 20th place. He needs to be above 20th to use his win at Atlanta to qualify him into the playoffs. Here's Ricky Springer talking pressure. Caught up down here in the garage area with the one and only Ricky Springer. Ricky, you're entering tonight's race 18th in points. But crucially, you have a win at Atlanta already. Now just 10 points above 20th, and according to the area rulebook, you need to be above 20th for your win to qualify you for the playoffs. What's the game plan tonight? It's Talladega. Really easy to lose 10 points. What's the game plan to not lose that 10-point buffer?
Yeah, it's been a stressful couple weeks, just trying to get everything lined up to at least be in a position where I was still going to make it, even with the win at Atlanta. So really the game plan is just to take it easy. I mean, there's going to be wrecks. It's a super speedway. It always goes that way. So just to try and avoid those and get the best finish we can. Fortunately, there's a couple of guys that, you know, either aren't running or probably have the same plan as me. So we'll see if we can get in front of them. But as of right now, this TRD Sport Camry, we'll see how the night plays out.
Absolutely. Well, your win this season did come at Atlanta, another super speedway style of race, albeit Atlanta only a mile and a half long, does play a little bit differently than Daytona or Talladega. But what is your confidence level now in the super speedway style races here in the Area Cup Series? And what kind of confidence do you have tonight for Talladega?
I mean, the confidence is kind of rhetorical. I mean, you know, you can have all the confidence in the world, but at the end of the day, it's a super speedway. You know, I have confidence that, you know, me and the guys that I'm working with can do a great job. I mean, we've shown what we had at Daytona and the Area 500, and, you know, obviously we showed what we had at Atlanta as well. So, you know, the confidence is a little bit higher than at any other race, but, you know, still I can't let that get blow up my head a little bit and get me kind of in over my head to the point where I start making mistakes. So just trying to stay humble. I mean, yeah, the experience is great, but overall, just kind of have to play it like any other race.
It's not just another race, right? I mean, you got pressure here coming into the playoffs. Can you just describe for the viewers here at home, what's it like to drive a sim race? Like it's some call it a video game. It's a sim race, but you're feeling huge pressure right here, trying to make this playoff and use this win to get yourself in. What kind of pressure is that like racing a sim race with pressure like this?
I mean, it's comparable to what you deal with in real life. I mean, I've raced in real life my whole entire life as well. And, when you get down to these high pressure situations, it doesn't matter if it's sim racing or you're actually in a car, the pressure's still there. I mean, you're racing for something at the end of the day, whether it's a trophy or a championship in real life, which granted you've spent more money in that, but the same goes for sim racing. I mean, the pressure is on your shoulders and, you're the only one behind the wheel. Thankfully, in sim racing, you don't have to worry about the car messing up on you. You don't have to worry about any mechanical issues, the setup not being right. We're on the level playing field. It truly just comes down to you. So you really have to be confident in yourself enough to get over those nerves and drive the car how you can drive it.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, we'll see how this race plays out tonight. Does that pressure affect your decision-making at all? Are you going to decide to approach this race any differently with that feeling of pressure and the enormity intensity of making the playoffs?
Like I said, I'd like this Ghost Energy TRD Camry to get into the playoffs. We've had some strong runs this year, and I feel like that's kind of played into our hand to get us where we're at right now. But as far as it goes for running the race any differently, it's going to come down to where I'm placed at. If I'm put in a bad spot, that I'm going to drop to the back and kind of exit myself from that situation. But if we're running up front and everything seems to be tame, then that's kind of where we'll be. So really, it's just playing the whole night by ear, trying to stay as safe as possible.
Alrighty, Ricky. Well, good luck tonight. Gonna roll off the grid here. 18th in points, plus 10 to 20th, where you need to be to use that win to qualify to the playoffs. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Eric.
So, guys, that was Ricky Springer pre-race with me. Obviously, a lot of intensity and pressure on that number 18 car, but he's sitting pretty good right now in the 4th spot.
Yeah, doing well. We're hanging on in P4 right now with that number 18, and he's just jumped to the outside lane with help from Dom DeLeo, Ed Robertson, Rafe Slate, and more. So lap 33, Finian, things are getting a little spicier here as that 18 is Springer springs in action on the outside lane.
I was going to say, he's starting to really mount some moves there, almost like he heard that interview and it kind of motivated himself to start making some moves forward. He's going to get a great push back from the 22. He's going to push around Delonte Ballard, and he will lead this lap coming to the line.
Bonus point for leading that lap, very crucial for the 18 of Springer. As long as he's inside the top 20 with that win, he is good to go for the postseason. But Delonte Ballard not giving up yet. He has something to say. 17 of Sturgill going to bump him down the backstretch here as they shuffle all throughout this pack.
One important thing that happened that we didn't get a chance to cover because of that caution flag, wave around recipients. David Weishart in the 33 and the 3 of Ryan Hartz, both who had penalties. Actually, that wasn't the 3. It was the 33 and somebody else. Can't remember, but they had pit road speeding. Slaughter, thank you. They are both running now inside the top 15, back in shape after those penalties and that wave around with a well-timed caution.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was quite a bit of luck towards them to get themselves back in this race real quickly. Speaking with Brad Slaughter in the middle, about to push Cosman Yonishilu, who's jumped out of lane. Haven't really talked about the 84 a whole lot. Started back in 19th up to 5th at the moment and starting to get some momentum to go forward here.
He's got Brad Slaughter with him, who was leading that middle line just a moment ago, but now Yonishilu leading that middle on board with him. Trying to get that lane going a little further. Seth Noel behind Slaughter. Going to give the little bump down into turn 3. And Sturgill and Ballard still 2 cars out. Trying to make it 3 with the 71 of Newbiggin.
Yeah, a 1-2 punch there from the 1 to the 88 to launch that 84 forward. Look way up top, the 3 and the 18 getting back together. Ricky Springer, I'll tell you what, he is racing for it tonight. He was running 4th, now 16th, just after a couple laps, but he has been aggressive tonight in pushing people and getting back into position. A couple of drivers that have been kind of lingering back here. Keep an eye on that 29 of Chris Rabel. And look at, is that Yonishiwu? Yes, that jumps up to the outside lane to pick up the 1 card.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the 1-0, Seth Noel, he got a very poor restart leading the field of green. Drop back to 8th almost immediately after just getting freight train on the outside lane. Now pushing that 84 back up to the top, riding that outside. Got a little bit of a 3-car breakaway as well in the front with Ballard, Churchill, and Newbegin trying to jump away from the field. Here comes Brad Slaughter up the middle.
Well, speaking of up the middle, we got Eric Weiland back here. What you got for us, Eric?
I'm not coming up the middle. I'm coming out from pit road right here. Here's some radio from Ricky Springer, Don DeLeo, as they made that move to the front.
Do you not want to lead this, Ricky, or what do you want to do?
Not particularly, but...
All right, I'm fine with letting the guys go by then and just following in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna push you hard.
That's fine.
So just as fast as they went to the front, they decided Ricky didn't want to be out front. I don't know. They don't really need to save fuel, guys, so I'm not sure why, other than doesn't want to be too wide and risking anything right now in that 18 car. So he and the 22 fell back in line. Meanwhile, Cosmin Yonishiwu went toward the front, but it's still Delonte Ballard, Michael Sturgill up front.
Couple new players creeping into the mix. How about the 91, the 7, and the 33? The 91, Jake Nichols, he has absolutely nothing to lose tonight by racing as aggressively as possible, Finian. I think he's just going to have fun. And Scioli also locked in. So is Beckner and Weishart. So that quartet there, they can race and do whatever they want. They're not going to get themselves pushed out of this championship. They've got wins, and they're well locked in.
I was going to say that there's only about 7 drivers that can really kind of have a whole lot of fun here. Everyone else, it's very nerve-wracking. Jake Nichols, Beckner, Scioli, Springer, Weishart, Hartz, and Dom DeLeo are really the only guys that can kind of do whatever they want. They're locked in no matter what. Sorry, exclude Springer from that. But then they can, everyone else can kind of do what they want, do as they please, because even if they wreck, they're still locked in the playoffs.
Here come the DWR boys. Brad Slaughter with David Weishart racing all over the hood and from behind. James Scioli and David Weishart, they're running 1, 2, 3 right now. About a 5 to 6 car breakaway there in that middle groove. They're going to try and keep that going, or they're going to migrate towards the top.
Closing in on the halfway point of this race in the next 10 laps or so. And still 3 wide. We've had 1 caution so far here. Here, a quick look at our Area Cup Series race recap. 18 lead changes in the first 39 laps of this race, Finian.
I was going to say, that's even putting it short, too, because remember, we only get the lead changes counted if when there's a change in the leader by the start-finish line, they're going to door each other in turn 3, almost wrecking if they went 4 wide. And they're still scrambling to hold it off. They are still 4 wide. Someone's got to give here.
Well, they're going to wait till the straightaway to give.
Oh, man, still 4 wide. They're still going to be 4 wide. Here comes the 7 up the middle, by the way. He wants the lead as everybody scrambles to get sorted back out behind him. That was tense stuff through 3 and 4, and they got away with it that time.
That was an absolute Cole Brown moment right there. I'm trying to look back and see what started that. Yeah, it looked like it was Yonishiwu and Weishart that made contact, and that just kind of caused everyone to check up and panic. And I'm genuinely amazed by everyone near the front of the field for being calm and just somewhat just allowing that to sort itself out.
I say we almost had a little bit of a jinx there with Kyle almost halfway through. Man, 18 lead changes. Wow, that was really good. And you just almost saw all 18 of them go up in the air.
Talladega giveth and Talladega taketh away. Beth Noel and Brad Slaughter Jr. now side by side. 2 neat rows now. We haven't really seen the 2-row tango yet, where we kind of got 2 equivalent rows. Finny, remember for the longest time that was the way plate racing would work here in iRacing? You'd have an inside lane and an outside lane. They could just not go anywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember it, and it sucked. It was just not fun stuff. I always loved the days when we had the actual 2-car tango, the 2-row tango, that old style plate racing. We had that for quite a while in iRacing, and I absolutely loved that. I was really upset when they took that away, because we had just kind of 2 rows in gridlock, but now we have so much ebb and flow, guys able to make moves, do whatever they please, and it's a whole lot of fun to watch.
This is definitely fun as Seth Noel is leading that outside line. Jake Nichols, he's still here, making his way through the middle, and then just working his way towards the bottom was Cosmin Yonishiwu. Now Seth Noel going to drop in the middle, going to get a push here from Jake Nichols, Jordan Martin, and Ryan Hartz. Very reminiscent of a season ago. Tango working together, but Seth Noel is going to prevail with Jake Nichols.
That was a well-timed drop to the middle groove. He saw the momentum the 91 had, the energy in the middle groove, and Noel dropped in front, took advantage of it. Jake Nichols pushes, the 1 all the way to the pointy end, and Dwayne Culberson slots into 3rd. We haven't really talked to Dwayne at all tonight. 14th up to 30. He's been quietly lurking back here, Finian, ready to pounce.
Let's see if he is ready to pounce. I think he's probably just going to sit behind the 91 of Seth Noel. And in behind, though, Doe driver not sitting behind is Jordan Martin. Jumps to the inside. Here comes Ryan Hartson behind him. Give him a shove to the front.
Cogswell off the wall, the backdrop. Scraped it on the entrance to turn 3.
Yeah, that always causes a huge amount of panic there when someone gets in the wall, but looks like everything's okay for now. Eric, I see you back in the booth. That's what you got.
Hey guys, as the pack comes by me here on the tri-oval, I got some radio from David Weishart Racing right there when they went to the lead, then had the second line make a move on the top, down the back straightaway, radio from there all the way to turn 2. I will forewarn you, if you have little ones listening to the broadcast, you may want to plug their ears for the next minute, because we had at least 4 violations of the area iRacing swear jar, in which David Weishart Racing now owes $4 because I'm about to play him on the broadcast. 3, 2, 1, here you go.
They're going top.
Hey, what's up, man?
Do we want to block this?
Yeah, you can block. Oh, shit.
You ditched me.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, you just almost wrecked me.
Oh, God.
I was trying to stay middle and he went low.
Oh, God.
Like he thought I was going bottom.
What a time. This is fun.
We're good, we're good,
Having
we're
lots of fun.
I'm screwed.
I gotta go.
Go. No,
I got no draft help down here.
I got you. Oh, you just got side drafted to hell.
Whoop. I'm side drafted again.
I'm side drafted, Bryn.
I got you.
So that's just a glimpse into the communications that David Weishart Racing are going through. Brad Slaughter there was not happy. They got stuck 4 wide when James Scioli decided to bail out and try to block that top lane run from Cosmin Yonishiwu. And yeah, that did not work out the way they wanted it to, but they did get themselves lined back up on the bottom. A lot of communication about the side draft, as you guys have probably well documented already tonight. The cars pulled up beside each other to drag each other back. They're doing it right now, right there with Jake Nichols and Seth Noel. And Jake trying to hold his ground in the middle lane. Man, Rafe Slate going backward fast.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That was a scary moment a lap ago as Rafe Slate got almost turned sideways across the front of the field. Dropped back in line, a couple spots back, and now Jordan Martin, Brad Slaughter Jr. fight for the top spot entering turn number 3. And the 1 of Seth Noel, kind of that persistent nagging bug up the middle of the field there. And now look at him jump back to the outside lane. He looks so strong tonight, Finian. He has put that 1 car everywhere this evening.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's definitely a driver you want to consider being the winner. Number 1 machine. He's been up there all race long, making moves. He's not been quiet. He's been making moves left, right, and center. So definitely an aggressive driver who you might think, if he given the right position, given the right time, has a shot at taking home this win.
Boy, oh boy, this is quite the spectacle we're watching here. Scioli up the middle with Jordan Martin, 7-11, 1-2 on the track, and riding aboard the bumper of Scioli's got that 11 of Martin just shoving it down the backstretch.
Can't really see much else other than the helmet here. You get to turn 3, don't be pushing the pusher, Cosmin, as we enter the 3rd corner now. Kind of middle of the road. Here comes the 11 at the bottom. You see him have to lift. Now he gets back in the throttle. Scioli has nowhere to go, and he's going to get swallowed up here out of turn 4.
We're going to go 3 wide. Noel jumping with the 84. They're going to rock it around the outside of the 11 and the 7. And Noel going to try to dive down below Yonishiwu. Yonishiwu coming down to the yellow line. Here comes Ryan Hartz out by himself trying to put a huge amount of steam.
Dumped the 7, didn't want to push him, went to the outside, and now he's getting the treatment.
It is cutthroat out here, guys.
Going to do the same thing.
As Scioli jumped to the outside, Hartz just went on the radio, really?
Eric Weinland.
Hey guys, I got a nominee here for Save of the Year. Kyle, I don't know if you can help me out with this one. Lap 44, exit of turn 2, R45, Chris Seidenfun. I don't know if you can get the opportunity to get this queued up.
It'll take me a minute. I can get there, though.
You got to see this save from Chris Seidenfun. Lap 44, coming off of turn 2 with Shane Abbey.
Oh, I got it. Holy cow. All right, go for it.
And by some miracle, everybody else missed him. I don't have radio on this one. This was just wild. But, yeah, the race control was even confused what the heck happened. It took about 2 laps for them to finally find this one. Miraculously, everyone lived.
Wow. Look at the 19
Ryan
to Swan. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Didn't even find his on board of that. Where's he? Oh, 38th. Here we go. Here's a look. Oh, man, that's close.
They were running in the back trying to avoid the trouble, and the trouble almost got him.
Now, unfortunately, Ryan Swan has lost the lead draft because of this. He is 20 seconds off the lead. Chris has decided to come to pit road, and I've not seen him go back out on the racetrack. The 45 car may retire for the night.
He is now
just going to have to putz around.
Sorry, Eric. He is now retired. He has taken that car off the racetrack.
Yep. 19's going to have to putz around and get caught up by the pack unless there's a yellow. Meanwhile, the other cars involved in the pack, Matthew Bell, 31st on back, still 7 to 8 seconds off the lead. They're not making any ground right now.
Into turn 3, working our way towards lap number 50. We are past halfway at this stage. And guys, it has been an exciting race so far. We continue to keep our eyes on the race recap. 23 lead changes. That's basically a lead change every 2 laps at this stage, and we have 46, make it 45 laps to go. And I couldn't even tell you who's led the most laps yet tonight, Finian. I don't know that anyone has led the most laps tonight.
No, it's honestly a complete coin toss. If anyone's been keeping track at home, props to you, because I think you would have to go through a lot of the field to figure out who that is, because so many guys have been, I mean, with those 21 lead changes, like you said, you can change the leader on average every 2 laps. So it's been tough to see how many, 23 laps now. So it's really tough to tell who's really the one dominating. We've seen a few guys near the front, not sure if really all of them led laps though.
It's the one of Seth Noel, because we were going across and it said 20, so it seems like the one led the most laps, but as we've seen here time and time again, it doesn't matter how many laps you lead, all that matters is leading the last one, and had a last lap pass here, a time or 2 or 10,000, but who knows, maybe the driver who does lead the most laps will take home the victory.
So here's the craziness of that stat. If the one has led 20 laps, that means that there were 11 different leaders across the 30-lap period. That is a lot of drivers to be up in the front, up in the mix. We are, well, they're 3 wide right now. Get another go. Trouble the back straightaway.
Oh, it's just 2. No, they're still wrecking. Cogswell, Jake Nichols.
Pole sitter in the wall and more trouble. 3 more on the inside wall. And what was a small wreck turned into a bigger one. Caution out lap 51.
Oh, and Alex Weaver just got hit by the 3 of Ryan Hart's. He's got damage, and he's a driver that really did not need any incidents here tonight. A lot of drivers well see what happened here.
I think it's just a bad bump from Jordan Martin, and then they kind of continue to crash up front.
Yeah, just right there, just that little bit too big of a bump right here. Scioli gets a big piece of it. Good thing that he is locked in. And then you'll notice as they come back across the racetrack, that's when Jake Nichols here is going to turn left to avoid the 26. Collects the 17 in his accident, and that's what tangles those drivers up and into the inside wall.
That looked weird from Nichols' part. He just kept coming down, 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 and I don't know. That just looked really weird on the 91's part.
It's right on board with
I don't know if you'll...
I think when he tagged the 26, I think he sensed he was going to come back across the racetrack, which when you look back at this in slow motion isn't really that wrong. Right here, he's coming back, so he turns left because he knows he could get tagged, and that's where the contact from the 17 is. Just frantic moments when everyone was just trying to be aware of everything going on. Skidding and sliding to a halt, and Eric Wineland on pit lane. It is a busy place down there after our second crash involving 6 cars down the back straightaway.
Oh man, guys, this is as tight as it can get. We are like on the absolute edge of the fuel window, even with hitting potentially as you come to get the 1 to green. Everybody coming to me for 4 tires of fuel. JT Poole just slid through his box right in front of me. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. as the right sides are up for everybody. Down they go. Left side's up. I see a couple guys still pulling into their stalls as well. First away in front of me was Brad Slaughter and Cosman in the 84. Race off of pit road. Looks like it's still going to be won by the 33 of David Weishart, though. Guys, like I said, this is right on the edge of the fuel window. They're going to have to come back down with coming to get the 1 to green, and they may still not even make it with their fuel save. It's that close.
Well, here's what I can tell you is that I don't think we're going to go all green all the way to the end. If I had to make a bold prediction, I think we're going to get at least 1 or 2 more crashes before then, and it'll set us up for the time-honored tradition of a green-white checkered at Talladega. That's just how they write this book, Finian.
Oh, absolutely. And one driver is looking for probably a new book to read. Alex Weaver, one of the drivers on the absolute edge of the playoff window, sitting 12th in points, dead tied on the bubble, was involved in that last wreck. Actually, he got that car fixed up pretty well, if I do say so myself. He got some damage to the nose and ended up getting into the back of the 3 as he spun across the track. So that nose was dented in. Looks like they fixed it pretty well, so I think he might be okay. And the only really big thing, though, is worrying about engine damage and engine overheating and still any internal damage.
Hey, Finian, he was not happy on the radio whatsoever. I actually recorded it, and I was going to try to play it back on the broadcast, but there was way too much bleeping that I was going to have to do. He was very upset with a car that was on the outside wall. I think it was the 28 of Travis Beckner. I'm not sure for certain, though, without having a chance to get back and look at it, but he said a car that claimed to have no brakes still decided to shoot off the wall and hit him as they were avoiding the incident. So Alex Weaver, regardless, not happy at all with what just transpired and the damage to his race car. He's going to hope he has enough left, and it's Ryan Hart's actually in the 3 as we see it right there on our television cameras. Great work, Kyle Heyer, for finding that for me. Yeah, he's not happy with Ryan Hart's whatsoever, and rightfully so, because that may just hurt his playoff chances in that number 4 car. Also, other note for you guys, Shane Abbey missed his pit stall his first time down pit road. Every single driver is coming down pit road to me right now once more for the splash.
I thought we were looking at a replay again for a second.
No, everybody is in front of me right now. I've got a bunch of splashes and goes. Nobody's taking tires. Everybody's coming in and out. They are somehow avoiding each other. This is about as bad as you normally see it on a Sunday at a super speedway race at Talladega or Daytona. David Weishart still the first off of pit road, but you guys are about to see something interesting here on the sim, and definitely a first in area iRacing, boys. A single file restart.
Oh, interesting.
Everybody decided to come to pit road.
Is that how that works?
That is, yes. Every single driver will be lined up on the quote-unquote inside, which is just going to end up being a single file restart anyway, because they are 1-2 green.
Wow, okay.
That's a throwback.
Connor Okrezik is out of order here. He's right behind the race leader, 1 lap down. And I would think he would either be told to drop to the rear or go around, but based on everyone coming to pit lane, maybe not?
Absolutely. That screws with the positioning system, so he's going to be where he lines up with where drivers came off of pit road, thus leaving him right behind the leader.
Oh, boy. All right, well,
this is bizarre to look at.
We're going to have 40 laps remaining when we get back underway, and it's a long way to go, guys. This is going to be an interesting show. I can't imagine we're going to go green all the way to the end. It is a distinct possibility, and you don't want to be the guy that didn't prepare for it, but I just can't say I think that's all that likely.
No, I don't think so. I think we're definitely going to get caution before it's all said and done. I think we've seen so much aggression out on the track that it's bound to happen at some point with these guys. I'm really curious seeing how this restart plays. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a modern stock car race start not double file?
Probably Bristol Dirt back from 2021. Maybe they did it in 2022, but if they really wanted to throw it back to the good old days, we have a lap car stay on the bottom, everyone else go to the outside. I'm all for it.
Roll back to 1995. We could do it better back then. All right, well, it is time to go back racing. 40 laps to go here from Talladega. David Weishart is in command. Thing you got to worry about is all the checking up here on the restart. Already 1 car out of line. Green flag back underway from Talladega Super Speedway in the last regular season race before the cutoff for the playoffs for the Area Cup Series.
going to petition for them to have single file restarts next season. I enjoyed that.
Whoa, the 32 car gets a shot, and everybody kind of staggers and scatters around. One of the things that the single file restart does is it makes the runs on the lap after the restart a lot bigger because that draft bubble is so much longer, and everyone's trying to game it. So you end up with these really accordion-like effects on the restarts, more than everyone being packed up and bunched up together.
And speaking of a run, Brad Sauter Jr. making a great run to the outside. Then he got Ray Slayton behind. Ed Robertson in the 64 all on that top lane. See a little three-car trio working together. Try to see if they can get the lead here. And it's going to be Brad Sauter leads the first lap after the restart.
Now we're back to double file action. Everyone on the outside or inside. No middle, no in between. At least not yet. For the time being, those top three, though, starting to pull away from everyone else. That's Slaughter, Rabel, and Robertson. Now Weishart jumping up to the outside, trying to get a run.
And I think we're going to generate a really big run here with Rafe Slayton, Weishart here on this front three. And how about Danny Ware? We have not mentioned his name, I think, other than at the reading down the grid order. 15th up to 6th fitting. He's having a pretty good night. Not a playoff contender, but certainly could change things tonight, at least with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And curious to see if he can make some noise. He's been pretty quiet this race so far. First time I think we've really seen him up in near the top 5 all night long, at least again up here with a chance to make a move. So let's see if he can do anything here, sitting in behind Ray Slayton in a brake machine.
We got the choo-choo train forming, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone jumping up to the outside. Well, trying to. They're 2 wide, 3 wide towards the back of this. But other than that, it seems like most drivers are on the same page, especially if we're this close on fuel. Want to be in the single file line. Don't want to waste too much fuel going door to door.
Hey, we haven't done this in a long time, Finian, but I think with cars up by the wall, it's time for a SimTV Sound Surge. Cars rocketing down the back straightaway here into turn number 3, lap 59 of 94. That we haven't done a sound surge in forever. Yeah. It's been years, I think.
It's been a very, very long time since we've done it. We're glad to do it back just for old time's sakes. Hear the beautiful sound of these engines, and almost all 40 cars still running the track. Still got 37 guys running, which is pretty good considering some of the wrecks we've had tonight. Most of the guys still out there running in fairly undamaged machinery. Some guys, some dents and bruises here and there. For the most part, everyone's still running at speed. Take a look at their leaders. Chris Rabel in the 29 machine sitting in behind Brad Sauter. You got, I think, the top 10 mostly single file. That's starting to change. Dante Ballard's leading a charge on the bottom.
Well, they were single file for the most part. Now they're starting to get a little more comfortable. Side-by-side action is going to be more prevalent towards the front. And as mentioned, Delonte Ballard, Bryce Senestak, and the 24 of Michael Curran are on their way towards the front. And I thought Jake Nichols was involved in the wreck. He's back inside the top 10 like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a couple of times this season. Here's Bryce Senestak, another driver we haven't really mentioned a lot tonight. Not big in the storyline sort of things tonight, but up into second place now as we close in on 30 laps to go, following Delonte Ballard to the top spot.
Yeah, and actually almost got a big shove in behind from Michael Curran in 24. So the guy who has a little bit of spotlight as well. She started in 22nd, up 19 spots to 3rd. Sitting right behind with this group of guys.
Well, getting a little more comfortable now, and Ballard, Senesac, Curran just went to the front. Nichols, Sturgill, now everyone's trying to migrate towards the bottom. Opposite of what we saw just a handful of laps ago.
Three wide out of turn 4. Rafe Slate's kind of in the middle of it here. 71 of Newbegin on the bottom and the 37 of Jeff Ryan on the outside. This is really the only area where three wide is still prevalent. Everyone else is single file back out. And now even they have sorted things. Here's Senesac on the outside of Curran for the top spot.
I don't think this is going to pay off well for the 09 unless he can get back in line here. He's going to be left out to dry, going to go back in behind. The thing, what I'm interested with all this double file action is, these guys, what happened to fuel saving? Weren't we supposed to be tied to fuel? Eric, you got any word for us on that?
Oh, Finian, you just beautifully led me into this one. This is Jacob Bell Racing discussing fuel.
I'm just trying to save fuel.
Get on Rabel a little bit, he'll fuck you.
Yeah, I definitely do not have enough fuel.
I'm just saying, I'm going half throttle around the whole track. Just trying to.
I didn't even think about fuel. Because I'm short by like 3 laps.
There's Jordan Martin saying he's short by 3 laps as the pack comes by me. Ed Robertson, just after I stopped recording to start cutting this together, said, man, I'm right on my number. As he was sitting 3rd in line on the top, saving fuel. He's now a little bit further back in the pack, still saving. That's why I think you saw him get somewhat tame with 2 lines, but then the other talk was the outside lane was too slow, not pushing, so they decided to ride on the bottom instead. Hence why Bryce Senesac, Galante Ballard, Jake Nichols, and Michael Sturgill have gone to the front, but fuel is still on the forefront of these guys' behinds. One more radio for you. This is Sky Motorsports. We haven't heard much from them tonight. They were just talking about how they didn't make much noise tonight.
We normally are wrecked out by this point of the race.
Yeah.
We're just happy to be here, to be honest.
So it's still a little ways to go. Let's see if we can, get something going.
I think I don't know what the fuck I just did.
So I apologize. I forgot to close the 4-letter words there, but yeah, Sky Motorsports just riding right now. They rode up to, Danny was saying he rode up to 5th there after the restart when everyone got to the top side, but they went back to the bottom. Everyone concerned about fuel once more.
Yeah, guess I'm surprised that there's such a difference in one driver versus another. I know that the draft and light footing it can save you some, Finian, but it seemed like there was a 3 to 4 lap difference in the estimated fuel consumption for some of these drivers, which feels like a lot.
Yeah, it really does. I'm just curious what's causing that discrepancy. If it's this guy just running more aggressively or not. Between the guys just kind of chilling, running back around 20th place compared to the guys up near the front where they're constantly shifting position, jumping up to the top lane, down the back to the bottom lane, full throttle, trying to make someone side drift everyone. I can't imagine it's doing a whole lot well for your fuel mileage. I'm curious again how much it's going to affect these guys in the long term. Are there guys out there just running that just kind of given up and just decided they're going to have to make one more stop?
Well, as soon as you said that, Aaron Smith and 12 of Shane Abbey just rocketed towards the bottom, but got the Ryan brothers pushing the 24 of Curran, leading the way here, and Tom Bourne from Sky Motorsports is actually up there inside the top 10 as we look at, wow, everyone is on the bottom, spaced out, except for the top 4. They are up there running their own line, and Tom Bourne getting a lot of separation here, actually, throughout this pack.
Yeah, this is, I guess, how I could see this race going green to the end, is just because everyone needs to make it to the end, right? If everyone just raced as if they weren't going to try to save, we could end up with a caution. But now that everyone's saving, Finian, this conservatism might actually lead them to need to do this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays in long term, because I have a feeling there's definitely guys that probably can make it, and a lot of guys that probably can make it as well, and really to find the discrepancy is going to be interesting to see some more and more guys starting to almost form a little bit of a breakaway in the top 8 or 7 cars.
There was a huge gap in between this top and bottom pack. Questioning how fast these cars are actually going. I know they're not going 100%, but some are like laying off. It seems like quite a bit. Like look at Delonte Ballard. He's got such a big gap between the car in front of him. I can't imagine they're going that slow. I mean, there's just they're going about 7, 8, 9 miles an hour slower than those top 7 or so.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of the drivers that were 3 laps too short, I don't even really know what the goal is of saving fuel. You're not going to make it. 3 laps is, what, 7.5 miles or something of the sort? It's too long, too far. I mean, I think you just commit to it. You hope that everyone else has to bail on that strategy as well. I think that's what we're going to see, Finney, as we get close to the end of this race. Lap 80, 85-ish, and you're going to see drivers just give up on it and go for it because they're going to have to either come to pit lane or just drop completely off the pace to where the people that I don't know, who knows? I don't like this at all. We're going to see how this plays out.
Oh, and actually talking about guys that decided to just throw it all on the line, Yoneshiwa just jumped at the top lane saying, I am done waiting back here. And he's building up a charge, trying to run to the front, bring some friends along as well to play.
Yeah, they're trying to make something work. It'll be interesting. And
just drive right around him, huh, Hunter? Look at that.
Yeah, a little more interesting than I thought it would be. It's like they got it's like the difficulties on easy mode.
Yeah,
well, it seems like
badly tuned AI. They're all on one line on the bottom, not doing anything. Now he tucks into 16th. See how long he hangs. Now he's lifting, so he seems like he's content here. But he gained about half the field in a lap.
Yeah, I guess he went to try to join back up. He's in behind Danny Wer's teammate. So I think they're comfortable being with each other just in case they need to play something. I hear a lot of guys just lifting off the gas completely, and a lot of guys shuffling, trying to make sure they don't hit the guy ahead from getting off the gas.
And
the outside lane, they're starting to get a little jumpy there. They're moving towards the top, or are they trying to let the cars on the bottom go? Because it's the Ryan brothers on the bottom. And speaking of brothers, we're kind of brothers, but from different mothers. Eric Weiland, what you got for us?
I mean, we do live in the same state, but it is a pretty far drive to your house. So anyways, no radio for you guys, but fuel is the topic of every single team I just visited. That includes JBR and Solar Flare Racing. Solar Flare saying they couldn't make it. They are still question marks on that one. I got guys in there between Delonte Ballard, who was 2 laps short when I first joined, to being right on the number, to Jake Nichols, who said he was 2 laps to the good at his current pace of 50% throttle. So these guys definitely not all out, except maybe the front couple who are deciding to just say, screw it, we're going for the win. The Ryan brothers are gone, boys.
Yeah, I mean, they're checking out. I mean, they've committed at this stage. Just run it out and hope that everyone else behind creates an issue. We are not that far away from the end of this race. 25 laps to go and 21 minutes of racing remaining. That's all that we have left. So the next 20 minutes, we're going to decide this. And Finian, I like this strategy that Jeff and Tommy are playing. I'm just going to just hedge my bets that someone is going to screw up, someone's going to have a crash here, and we're going to have the track position win this race. And once the caution comes out, assuming that you're not going to get a green-white checkered, you can just shut the engine off, coast, and save a couple laps of fuel right there.
I just always love when it comes down to these strategy runs. Someone just plays devil's advocate and says, "Hey, I'm just kidding. May not be the best call, but I'm going to make it anyway." And the Ryan brothers just going out there, just trying to see what happens. And they are going significantly faster than everyone else. They're going about 10 miles an hour on average, faster than the rest of the field, who's in fuel conservation mode.
Neither of them have anything to lose here at this stage in the race. Michael Curran, though, he's in that bubble. Those that are in blue are locked in. Those that are in red are out. But those that are in yellow, they're on the cusp of being in. So he's got everything to lose here, trying to make it into the postseason.
Oh, we're starting to double file up back here. Sorry to cut you off, Hunter. Got guys like Connor Kresge rocking around the outside. I wonder if they're also deciding to just go on with it.
Yes, I think there's definitely a strategy split happening here right now, because look at the 14 of a Kresge leading this, and it's not even close. They're just blowing around the outside of him. I think they're just deciding to go, and now it just looks hilarious as they just
I just heard Michael Sturgill jump on the race. Said, "Hey guys, the LMP2s are passing by."
Daytona isn't for another week here in iRacing, but man, that is funny. I'm getting horrible stutters here as well. Just the performance of this car in iRacing is Not only does it stink to drive, it stinks to look at.
Yeah, my computer's not loving the field in their entirety.
3080 and a 5800X isn't even enough for it, man.
Yeah, no, it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
Well, out front, it's a 5.5-second lead for the Ryan brothers. And then
it's about to change.
Go ahead.
So, pit lane report here for you. No radio. I am so mad I didn't start recording this when it started happening. You see the Fizikis Motorsports guys here. Connor O'Kresick in the 14 is a lap. He's getting pushed by Rafe Slate in the 8, Dom DeLeo in the 22, Ricky Springer in the 18, an affiliated driver not driving for Fizikis. They're all going to the front. They want Connor to get his lap back. So their mission is to get to the Ryan brothers, which now they have to make up a 5-second gap. Before I left, they claim they're good on fuel. As a driver myself, I don't believe it. I believe they're putting up the front, but they said, Connor, let's go get the lap back. Because you are 1 lap down, though he is the only car 1 lap down that is still racing in the race. He would get the lucky dog not being in an incident, but he decided, no, let's go get it the hard way. So Connor O'Kresick and Fizikis Motorsports going toward the front. They're going to try to reel in these Ryan brothers. Watch this line as they take off.
It's like Doc Hudson in Cars. Get out there and get those laps back. Working to 20 laps to go next time by. And they're making up a ton of ground on the Ryan brothers. Last time by, they were a full second faster than the 37 and 99. So that gap will be coming down. But to what end and are they really fibbing about whether or not they can make it to the end? If I had to guess, ain't nobody making it to the end based on what I've seen.
No, but the bad thing, this actually is bad news for the Ryans because because these guys are pushing, trying to catch back up, it's dragged everyone else along as well. I'm sure they're still trying to save fuel, but they've also, because they're just trying to follow the draft, they're speeding up a little bit and coasting pretty much as they were before. So the entire field's getting dragged along back towards the Ryan brothers.
This is all interesting to look at because I was just about to say, going back to the last time I recall seeing this at Talladega was Greg Biffle in 2015, the fall race. He had over 40 seconds on the rest of the field, and if Jay McMurray didn't blow out, Greg Biffle would have won that race by over 40 seconds. They waited until he literally ran out of fuel under caution and then said, all right, now we're going to go green this time. Fantastic. That's the only time I can recall seeing something somewhat similar to this at Talladega.
20 laps to go, coming back to 19. And the Ryan brothers, that time by, kind of stabilized their lead at 4.6 seconds. And we are under 20 laps to go, but still about 15 minutes worth of racing remaining.
Now here comes Kazumi Yoneshiwu trying to jump back up through the order. Wow, he is flying past everyone. He's talking about LMP2's. He's got an LMP1 going around everyone on the oval here. He's flying by these guys.
Well, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. That is what...
He just jumped around like about 20 cars, and now he's about to get to the lead in this group.
Well, now Kresik's jumping up to the top,
Whoa.
so we could see a yellow here, possibly.
Around the outside goes Yoneshiwu up into third place. Beckner splits the difference here. And while all this is going on, the Ryan brothers continue to sprint away. And now the 14 is no longer in position to get that lap back, and they are running out of time to do it. Man, those two. Now, here's the thing, is if we go green to the end, they're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, this kind of, and the also thing is too, they have to hope that there's caution. If there is a caution, it's got to happen before they need to come down to pit lane. Which I would say, maybe what, lap 85, lap 90-ish?
Yeah, I mean, if it happens at lap, 85 or 90, then you have to make the decision of whether or not you want to try to save fuel under that potential yellow. But we talked earlier about the drivers that were trying to make it in on points. One of the drivers on the bubble coming into the night was Alex Weaver, and Eric Wineland caught up with him before the race.
All right, guys in the booth, I'm down here in the garage area with Alex Weaver pre-race here. Alex, you and your teammate Matthew Bell are in a very unique situation here at IRLC Motorsports. You guys are tied on the cut line coming into the final race of the regular season. here in the Area Cup Series Season 3. Right at the cut line, couldn't be any closer. I believe, Alex, you're sitting with the tiebreaker right now. I actually have to open the rule book to go find that one out. I'm not sure, but any different sort of feeling? It's your teammate out here. Do you race with him? Do you guys go out for your...
Caution.
Yellow on the speedway, guys.
And it is a couple drivers, I think, or is it just Aaron Smith? Third caution of the night with 17 laps to go. That alleviates everybody's fuel concerns. And here's a quick look. There's the tail end of it, just the 72. He was off the nose of Delonte Ballard. Off into turn 3 right here. Big stack up there. And just gets turned around. The 91, the 17 slide by, but that brings out the caution with 17 to go. All right, guys, with all that out of the way, now we get to see how this race would really play out.
And that went exactly to Jeff Ryan and Tommy Ryan's favor. That's exactly what they needed to happen.
Well, you just knew that they weren't going to go without having a yellow to the end of this. I mean, it's Talladega. I mean, anything can happen. We just saw that. They were going 15 miles an hour slower within a snap of a finger, and just had that happen. But this could play out for either of the Ryan brothers. Jonas Shiwu, Poole, Beckner, everyone is bunched back in. It's only going to get more and more dicey on this next restart.
So Eric Wineland, when they come down pit lane, we just take in a splash of fuel just to get to the end and calling it a day?
Kyle, that's a great question, and I don't think so. Because these guys were going to need to make it a full stint on tires. Tires probably don't matter too much here to Super Speedway, but you want the freshest rubber to make the best moves, especially if you need to make them late. So I'm expecting everybody for at least 2 tires, if not all 4, as everybody is hitting pit road. This will make them plenty good on fuel. There was quite a few drivers that said they were good on fuel, including Douglas Newbigging from the Lucky Duck Motorsports camp. Was very upset in text chat. JT Poole pulls in front of me. He's one of the first to hit his pit stall. Here comes Ricky Springer on by as well. Right side's up on these 2 cars in front of me. Jake Nichols as well pulling in with his teammate Delonte Ballard. Left side's going up on JT Poole. It's all 4 for all of these guys down here. 4 tires fuel. Everybody drops down and away. Race off pit road coming back toward you guys. It's going to be a tight one.
Wow, 4 wide off pit, 5 wide off pit lane. Everybody scrambles. I think they got out of there okay. But we're going to resort things.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing.
Go for it.
Is that quite a few guys stayed out. 6 cars, in fact. Cogswell Noel, Brad Slaughter Jr., Jacob Bell, Chris Rabel, and David Weishart all elected to stay out.
Vinian beat me to it. I was going to say that there were some strategy plays right there. They can make it on fuel if they save under the yellow here, guys. But it's going to be real tight, especially if we end up getting one of those coveted area green-white checkers.
I think it's a safe bet that we get that. Finian, as we get closer and closer to the end of this race, remember our rule is if we get 1 green-white checkered, the next flag will end the race. That means that track position is the play. Now, at Talladega, here's the problem is you need to make it to that caution in the lead to be able to really stay out in front and hope for the crash behind you. So do you think that Cogswell, Noel, Bell, Slaughter, etc. hang on long enough for that to be a reality?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm also looking in the chat here. It says Douglas Newbigging. He typed in the chat 8.8 gallons RIP. I'm not sure that. I'm assuming that's how much fuel he has left.
That was one of the ones that I was reporting. He was plenty good on fuel, Finian. He did not need to make a stop on that final stint, but the yellow came out and that ruined his strategy play. I do want to clean up one thing on my end as well. Alex Weaver in the 4, 21 of Delonte Ballard, Matthew Bell in the 9, as well as the 91 of Jake Nichols, and then 2 more, Dwayne Culberson in the 81, the 41 of Tyler Nichols. So that's all of Solar Flare Racing and IRLC Motorsports. 2 tires, or even fuel only for those guys. They were only stopped stationary in their box for 6 to 7 seconds.
15 laps to go here as we get set for what could be our final run to the end. Got a couple replays tonight, courtesy of SimWrap Market. Fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And Rick's Hot Sauce. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Field doubling back up for a restart here, Finian. 13 is going to be the lap number to run to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Some may argue it's an unlucky number. I imagine that there's going to be some guys here that are going to be pretty unlucky here. Big question really got to ask you guys before we go back green. Is going to be the final caution we see?
Nope.
I can answer that one for you very easily, Finian. No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we're definitely seeing another caution come out. There's just way too much on the line. We have way too many cars running, arguably. We have 37 guys, and actually talked about it too. Connor Krezicki got his lap back, so he's now back in the lead lap fighting with everyone else. So 37 cars still running.
And 37 on the lead lap, mind you.
Yeah, and competitive. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Hey, I want to line this up for you, Finian. Chris Rabel restarting 5th right here in the 29 car. He is 18 points out coming in. Delonte Ballard, 13 points out coming in. These guys, they don't know that they can race their way in on points. They're going to be going for this win, and it is going to get crazy. And I expect, although I have full faith that these drivers are some of the cleanest out here in the entire area iRacing League, that things are going to get physical here in these last 13 laps.
Remember, the ticker, the red, means that they are outside looking in. So 13th are on in the point standings. The gold means that they are currently in on points alone, but could get out, could be bumped. The blue are the only drivers that can take a deep breath, and you can't even include Ricky Springer in that because he might fall outside of the top 20 in points based on where he finishes tonight. 13 laps to the end is all we've got remaining here in the Area Cup Series regular season finale. Cogswell started the race on pole. He will restart in the lead. 13 laps to the end. Can we get back to the checkers under green? 13 to go from Talladega. Green flag back in the air. And what happens with a restart this close to the end, Finian, it is already go time. There is no waiting. You're going.
Oh, absolutely. Give and take. It's gone. It's all take right now. Everyone trying to get as many spots as possible because Brad Slaughter Jr. rocketing around the outside huge. Head his team. Pushed by the 33, David Weishart.
They are bunched up and ready to go. Delonte Ballard up there as well on the outside trying to get things rolling or continuing to roll. They're going to come down in front of Cogswell here, so we got about a 7-car breakaway now. Well, a 6-car breakaway. And they're 3 wide all over the place behind.
Yeah, it could be a real mess in the background if anybody makes a wrong step. Look at how tight it is. The 27 to Gabriel Allison, all sorts of out of shape. 3 wide, almost 4 for a moment. Another big slide back there. I think that was the 16 of Tom Bourne. 12 laps to go from Talladega.
Yeah, I think about it. It's been a little bit of time since we've been 3 wide. These guys got to be careful here, they're all so close together, as you mentioned before. One small step out of line, one mistake can cause a massive wreck here in the middle of the field. Everyone being so aggressive. Well, 13 just made a move and almost caused a wreck. Andrew Player in the middle of it. You see Dwayne Coverson diving down below the yellow line to try to avoid it.
They're losing ground, trying to get somewhat sorted out here. They are
12 cars in the
leaning
wall
on each other.
Still 4 wide here as they roll through 3 and 4. There they go. The 51's in the fence, sideways in the background.
There's the yellow.
Yeah, they were 4 wide there, guys. That wasn't going to work. Caution out with 12 laps to go, and here's a look at what happened. Oh, just gets squeezed up there. Not much that Shane Abbey did wrong there, but they just found themselves 4 wide. Right here, I think this kind of spooks the 51 just enough. A little bit of netcode contact on top of that, but the 51 gets the worst of that. The 12 gets a piece of it, and we're back behind the pace car.
And I'm just hearing some drama from the 28 cam. Driver needs to use the restroom.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Someone get him a bucket.
It always comes down to buckets at Talladega. All right, we got some time here, so let's kind of finish where we were with the Alex Weaver conversation because Garrett Weiland caught up with him. We had a kind of a quickie yellow, so before we get back to green, let's finish that one up.
Unfortunately, it's going to have to loop over for you, Kyle. But
that's
here you
okay.
go.
Let's
All right,
roll
guys
it.
in the booth. I'm down here in the garage area with Alex Weaver pre-race here. Alex, you and your teammate Matthew Bell are in a very unique situation here at IRLC Motorsports. You guys are tied on the cut line coming into the final race of the regular season here in the Area Cup Series Season 3. Tied at the cut line, couldn't be any closer. I believe, Alex, you're sitting with the tiebreaker right now. I actually have to open the rule book to go find that one out. I'm not sure, but any different sort of feeling? It's your teammate out here. Do you race with him? Do you guys go out for yourselves? What's the discussion in IRLC Motorsports in terms of what you guys are going to try to do tonight?
Right, yeah, the discussion so far between me and Matt is just kind of ride together, ride it out. You know, of course, when it comes down to that final little stretch, it's every man for himself at that point. You know, hopefully we come out on the receiving end of both of us coming in. If not, at least maybe one of us can get in. But yeah, when it gets down to the very end, we know it's every man for himself.
Do you have a hard point in the race yet where you're going to make that decision?
I don't. It's all about feel once we get that close. You know, anything can happen. I can remember back to Daytona, the first race I was in here. It's, you know, you're sitting real, you know, you're okay at the moment, and then all of a sudden everything breaks loose and you're sitting real pretty in second place. So, you know, really hoping for something similar tonight where we can come out, you know, with a good finish. But it's really just on edge and wait until you feel like the moment's right.
So obviously it's you and Matthew Bell in the team channel tonight. Anyone else joining you guys? Are you going to get any additional info on where you guys are running, where other guys are running as to the current point situation throughout the night? Or are you guys just going to kind of fly by the seat of your pants and do the math if you need to mid-race?
We'll probably have a couple people popping in and out to help us out with the points, but Matt stays pretty on top of it. He's pretty much giving us the updates most of the time, but yeah, we'll definitely have some supporters popping in and out.
Alrighty, well, last one for you here. There's just an intensity and pressure that is on this race, especially for you two teammates. I know you guys are gonna be buddy till that final stretch, but is it any different racing with such a pressure, such a feeling on your shoulders that you want to try to get both of you into the playoffs, but that may not happen because you guys are both on both sides of the cut line right now, tied coming in?
Right. Yeah, it's. I don't feel any other pressure than any other race. Trying to stay cool and calm, and just go forth with the same attitude I've been trying to go. Haven't had the best finishes I feel like I needed this season. That's the reason why I'm in the position I'm in. You know, we should be able to finish better than this to not put ourselves in this position. But nonetheless, we're going to do everything we can to get everybody into the playoffs, and you know, like I said, hopefully in the end it's both of us in, but looking forward to at least one. But it's gonna be a fun ride.
Any different way to approach the race?
No,
do we have the same aggressiveness?
Same sort of aggressiveness, but I'm gonna lay back early stages for sure. Just trying to make sure I'm there in the end. I think Matt's got the same game plan going in, just kind of stay back in the early stages to avoid any wrecks that may happen, but stay close enough to this lead pack. That way we can pounce if the time is right, because you know, you never know if there's gonna be a bunch of cautions or just a few cautions, but I mean, there's always a chance of none at all. So we want to stay in striking distance for sure, but be sure we're trying to tread lightly and stay out of the wrecks if possible. I mean, I know it can be kind of a coin toss here whether or not you avoid them or not, but yeah, just gonna do our best to get to the end. That's really the goal. That's the only goal right now, get to the end.
Alrighty, Alex. Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Have a great one out there. Best of luck tonight to both you and your teammate, Matthew Bell, in the IRLC Motorsports Camp.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
So coming back to a restart with 8 laps to go. Alex Weaver will restart in 8th. And as it stands, he'd be looking pretty good to make it to the playoffs, but he also really does not want someone that is not currently in to win a race. That would be a big deal. Vinny DeCuna as we enter turn 3 here, getting set for the restart. Earlier you picked a driver to win. How was your choice fared this race?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. I picked Delonte Ballard, who's currently running in 3rd place, so I would say my pick's doing pretty well at the moment. I don't even think you actually picked anyone, Kyle.
I didn't. It's Talladega. I'm too smart to pick someone before the race is
pick
over.
someone else.
I'm gonna wait till the race is over, then I'll tell you who would have won. Hunter Sleppy, I think, picked Seth Noel. He's running 5th, and Eric Wineland.
That was actually
I
Eric's
picked Seth
pick.
Noel. He's P5 right now.
Yeah, all right, Hunter, who'd you pick again?
Ryan Swan.
Okay, well, 2 of the 3 are doing pretty good. And my pick is crushing it right now. You guys just will have to wait to see who it is. Coming back to 8 laps to go. Here we go. Talladega Super Speedway, 8 laps remain in the regular season. Green flag back in the air. Brad Slaughter fires off. Running out of daylight, racing the sun to the checkered. Brad Slaughter Jr. down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is getting really dark out there. I didn't realize how low the sun is in the sky. Makes for an absolutely beautiful backdrop here as the race is coming to its end here. And guys stuck in the middle. Yonoshibu stuck in the middle of that sucker hole as he's slowly dropping back. Brad Slaughter Jr. Weishart up on top, leading with Seth Noel with Jacob Bell on the bottom lane.
They're trying to get that middle lane going, but it might be the recipe for disaster that the rest of this pack does not want to see. Meanwhile, Slaughter continuing to lead on the outside, and they're trying to shuffle down towards the middle, at least towards where Cogswell is.
Oh, wreck in the background. Wreck out of turn 1, caution out. Yet again, a huge wreck.
And there's the big one.
There's Matthew Bell in it.
7 laps to go, and a whole bunch of drivers in this one. Matthew Bell, as mentioned, Connor Okrezik, Bryce Senesac. That car is torn up pretty good. Go back and have a look. Right there, gets the 22, Senesac does. And it just sets a chain reaction for about a 10-car crash. That was really a chain reaction there.
That was not what Matthew Bell needed. Sitting tied for 12th place in the points with Alex Weaver.
And Tom Bourne gets a piece of it, but the big question for Matthew Bell is how much damage did he get out of this? Pretty big hit to the outside. Pretty big hit to the left. So we'll see if he can make it through it. I mean, there's definitely some damage on that car, guys, and that right front is not looking healthy.
No, it's definitely not. He's going to have to just hope he can to sit down and pit lane fix it up. I've been genuinely surprised how much guys have been able to fix their cars up. So if he can get most of the repairs done, maybe hope for another caution. Might have some luck coming his way. Eric, got a word for us?
I got bad luck for Matthew Bell. Meatball flag.
Oh, yeah.
There is suspension parts, all sorts of broken in that car. And that's going to end Matthew Bell's playoff chances. Unless something miraculous happens tonight where other guys are involved and the points fall his way, no way. He is unfortunately not going to make the 2023 Area Cup Series playoffs.
And that's how quick things change. Matthew Bell really wasn't up in the mix a whole lot tonight, though, guys. When you look back at the evening, we didn't really talk about him a whole lot. He wasn't really up probably where he needed to be. And when the time comes down to it, you know, you're in the mid to back of the pack, and this is what happens. And he's going to end this with disappointment. But that right front tire and all the suspension geometry connected to it is going to be the final straw that broke the camel's back there.
He's coming down pit road at me. And actually, one other one that is involved in this that's going to lose his playoff hopes is Shane Abbey. He was 18th in points coming into tonight. But as I documented it pre-race, guys, the down to 21st was still 20 points out of the cut line. So any of them could have pointed their way in. Shane Abbey, meatball flag as well. That's going to be the end of his playoff hopes as well this season.
So who does that bring into discussion here? Brad Slaughter in the number 88 leads the way, but Delonte Ballard, Seth Noel, Jacob Bell, Jonathan Cogswell, 5 drivers in the top 6 that are not locked in and not in position necessarily to move on. But is there anybody up here, Eric, that could, with a win, advance themselves?
Absolutely. I got a big development for you here coming from pit road. Rafe Slate just dropped connection from the race with 5 to go.
Oh, man.
And Rafe was absolutely in the playoff picture as well. Currently, he was 4 points out from the cut line, 17th coming into tonight's race, and he just dropped due to a connection loss. And we got a lot of Fs in the race session chat for Rafe Slate's connection upload packet loss. Guys that can win their way in right now, Delonte Ballard is one of them in the 21 car there. Let me go ahead and take a look at the rest of the points here for you. You need to be above 20th here in area if you're going to use a win to get in the playoffs. Ricky Springer still doing that, currently P11. Can use his Atlanta win to get himself into the playoffs. Not too many other names right here that are still up here. I would say Garrett Grant was involved in this incident, and that hurt his chances. Greg Mitchell, unfortunately, could not make the race tonight, so he is out of it. Jordan Martin is still in the mix, though I don't see him way up the order here. He's currently 25th. Just spent 2 incidents ago, he spent some time fixing some damage on that number 11 car. That's pretty much it. Chris Rabel in the 29 was still up here in the mix as well. I can't find him. Oh, he's P8 right now, guys. That's pretty much the only other one that can still win his way in. Dwayne Culberson in the 81 can as well. He's 19th. I don't think he really got caught up in that incident. I was with Solar Flare Racing right as that yellow came out, and it sounds like most of them got through. But that's realistically who can still win their way in. The 81, the 29, the 21, and the 11. It's pretty much everybody left that can still win their way into the playoffs.
There's a lot of drivers in the yellow on the ticker that would rather not see the 21 and the others that you listed get that victory and move that cut line around a little bit. So hopefully, for their sake, that doesn't happen. But again, the sun is getting very low here at Talladega Superspeedway. This is about the latest. Look at that gorgeous sunset here. This is about the latest I think we've ever raced at Talladega. Yeah. And man, it's pretty out here. Let's get some lights here too. All in favor?
I will
agree.
say aye.
Okay, good.
Though 2.66 mile racetrack, that's a lot of lights.
Yeah, I was going to say the people paying for that I don't think are going to say aye to
that.
Well,
here's what you can do is you can get one really big light and just put it kind of far away.
Yeah, it's called the sun.
Oh, dang it.
I was just going to say, let's just build a dome over it.
Let's just rebuild it on
a feat.
Or we could just dig a hole in the ground and then rebuild it underground.
I wonder how that would affect the cars.
Racing underground? Probably.
Yeah, you get some pressure and humidity changes.
Yeah, more air pressure.
Way too
more
much
power,
money,
right?
way too many questions, not enough answers.
Listen, although I can claim I'm an engineer, I did not get all of my physics down totally pat.
Let's build it underwater.
That's also an idea.
In one of those Disney water park tubes, you know, those like plastic. You know what I'm talking about?
I was just gonna say, are you living in a pineapple under the sea, Kyle?
I wish some days.
Let's just race in Teslas and see which one crashes everyone the first.
Wait. All right, we're running out of sunlight, running out of time. If we get another caution, it'll be our one and only attempt at a green-white checkered. You can be almost certain you should take that bet because it is going to be a wild last 3 laps here. We're probably not only 3 laps away from the checkered. I'll bet you we're a few more away. Here we go. 3 laps right now left to go in the regular season for the Area Cup Series from Talladega. Green flag back in the air. Look at the one to the outside, the 33 and 88 getting paired up together, and the 26 of Cogswell with a big shove from Chris Rabel.
Yeah, Noel just left out to dry. No one really wanting to work with him. Got a huge shove from Jacob Bell. Gets some momentum back going his way. He's going to jump out to the outside to the 21. Here comes Weishart. Was he going to throw the block on the one? He will.
Crash behind him. 11 car turned around. Caution out.
Oh, and they're still wrecking. Mark Patterson got on the wall there.
And I think that's the 17 also tagged up back there. Michael Sturgill.
Yep.
Let's have a look. Watch the 11 here, the 72. Big stack up on the inside right here. He kind of goes to the middle and just kind of bounces off a couple of people. Bryce Senesac took a big hit there. Culberson got a piece of it. Ryan Swan and then the 17. All right, so our 5th caution of the night, and this is going to now put us into overtime. Not really a surprise there, Finian. But now Brad Slaughter Jr., while he's not in a position to make the playoffs, is in a really good spot because this is where we've been a couple times this season. Green-white checkers, you have to get to the white flag before the race is considered official. And based on the last couple of restarts, that has not been happening. So I'm liking where the 88 is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think definitely the favorite position to be in at the moment, and not probably for guys like Seth Noel, Delonte Ballard. They want a shot at winning this thing, especially 21 Delonte Ballard, just to kind of secure that spot. But like you said, it's going to be tough. We have to make sure they make it around in one piece, at least one lap. I'm curious to see if everyone's willing to work together. And then they decide to just go balls to the walls on that final lap where no caution can end the progress of the race.
I was going to say, I don't think they're, with the way these last few restarts have been going, I don't know if they're going to make it to the white flag.
Yeah, I think that's the bet I'm going to take as well. Eric Wineland, we're discussing whether or not we're going to make it back to the white flag, and the common consensus is no. Your thoughts?
I think these guys suck it up. I think we get the white flag. I fully expect to see a wreck, but I fully expect to see it after the white flag has flown, as Bryce Senesac down here with a meatball. And I got some radio for you guys. This is 2 restarts ago, so not the one that triggered this green-white checker, but the one before that. Just some communication here in the David Weishart Racing team. James Scioli out of the race with a meatball flag. He is currently 45-ish laps down, but he is helping his teammates Brad Slaughter and David Weishart. Listen in.
All right, come on to my bumper.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, we pulled away from. I can't. You're gonna have to drag. I'm
outside 4 cars deep, 5 cars deep. No,
we're gonna have to block top.
I got no brake.
So that's just some audio that gives you an insight to the communication that's going on among the front 2 as they continue to control this race from the front. Now, whether they can do so on this final restart, I just don't know, because the 2-car tandem, guys, is so darn strong for power. It's just a matter of whether they can get to that white flag or not. I hope, and my fingers are crossed, that we at least see the white flag, give a chance for these playoff guys to try to get there, like Delonte Ballard and Chris Rabel.
Delonte Ballard dropped a couple spots on that last restart. Still in position, though, and I think if you're in the top 10, you're probably in a position where you could win on the final lap on speed and runs alone. Beyond that, I think you're hoping for a crash. But if you're Brad Slaughter Jr., you're hoping for that crash right away, lock up a victory. And even for David Weishart to win wouldn't really help him a whole lot. He's already in, but just to stack one on the season. Seth Noel in the number 1, I think would love to cap off the regular season with a victory, especially if any.
Oh, absolutely. Be interesting to see if he can get it. Again, it's going to be really tough to see if everyone's going to make it. Saw Race Control bribing everyone with cookies if they make it to the white flag. So we'll see if that bribe works.
Well, cookies are temporary.
You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
One and only Cameron Hearn is trying to bribe these guys with some cookies.
Whoa.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. That is Carter Coop. I am sorry, Carter. I just totally discounted Carter. Carter was the one that came up with that one. I fully expected that to come out of the Cameron Hearn camp.
Cookies are temporary, like championships are forever. Send it.
Hearn seems like a cookie guy to me.
No, cookies are forever. Championships are temporary. Nothing beats a good old chocolate chip cookie.
Except a championship and a cookie, because if you win a championship, you can buy all the cookies you want. Look at Jimmy Johnson.
Here's the thing. You can't eat a championship. You can eat a cookie, though.
Jimmy Johnson ate so many cookies after winning all 7 championships that he sucked at driving an IndyCar. Wow.
Oh, wow. Who'd have thought? That's not on my bingo card. Jimmy Johnson catching a stray.
Kyle Heyer is not holding anything back tonight, gentlemen.
I just, should have laid off the cookies.
Only here at Sim TV.
Actually, if we're being honest, we saw how much cookies Tony Stewart ate. He won a couple championships.
Soda cookies.
Soda cookies, dude. That was my favorite meme of the mid-2000s.
Do not discount a good soda cookie.
Dude, I just...
Do not discount a good soda cookie.
I just can't even believe that was real. One of my favorite things. All right.
I'm going to poll the audience here just and watch YouTube chat. maybe Twitch chat as well. I just want to know, what radio do you guys want to hear for this final restart? I'll open it up to you guys here in the booth too.
I'm going to vote for Seth Noel or Delonte Ballard.
Ballard.
I want Delonte.
Yeah.
I think I can get you solo player racing across the line.
All right, well, let's do it. Sun is setting here at Talladega, and the sky is golden. The opportunities are on the horizon for drivers trying to make it into the playoffs for the Area Cup Series. 2 laps and just about 5.2 miles is all that remains between one driver and going to victory lane. If the caution flies, race is over. If we make it back to the white, whoever gets back to the checkers is your winner. Brad Slaughter Jr., David Weishart share the front row. Behind him, a hungry field of drivers trying to get it done one last time, give themselves a shot at the championship. Green flag back in the air in the restart zone, and we're underway. 2.66 miles until we can throw the white flag.
Trying to come up. Here comes Seth Noel looking to the outside here. Oh, they are shuffling a lot. I don't like this, Finian.
Oh, I don't like this either, but Seth Noel trying to make as many wins as possible. Going to go high, going to go low, down below Brad Slaughter Jr. to take the lead immediately before any chance of a caution comes out.
Down the back straightaway, the 77 of Jacob Bell takes the lead. Where did he come from? Here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols up to P3. And here Ricky Springer up the middle. 3 and 4. Here comes the 91 down the middle of the racetrack.
Ooh, how much is Ricky Springer going to risk this here? He's looking at a great points day, but he can lock himself in definitely if he can get a win here. It's aggressive block by Seth Noel, 3 wide coming to the line.
Jake Nichols can do it all. He has yet to win on the super speedway. Can he do that? Can they make it to the white? They are 3 and 4 deep here. White flag in the air. One final time from Talladega.
One more lap at Talladega. Jake Nichols has the lead. Ricky Springer with a big run, trying to one-up his victory from Atlanta. To the outside, here comes Bell on the bottom, 3 wide.
Oh, watch the pushes, guys. Watch the bumps. Aggressive bump from the 1 to the 18 on the top side. Everyone's pushing hard. No one's letting up.
Well, the bottom lane is not going, but it is all Ricky Springer and Jake Nichols door to door as they're headed down the back into turn 3 for the final time. When will the wreck happen?
Here they come, 3 and 4. Final lap at Talladega. The 28's on the apron. Big slide through 3 and 4. There's a huge crash. The 64, 41 more involved. Jake Nichols in command. The 1 to the inside. Underneath him, it's a drag race to the checkers. Banging doors. The 1 is Seth Noel to the inside. 3 wide. The 18 on the top. The 1 gets turned. Ricky Springer wins it. Ricky Springer wins it by 0.05 of a second at Talladega.
I cannot believe that. Wow.
That is unreal. I'm not really sure what Seth Noel was doing there. He kept trying to door slam the 91. I didn't see any run there.
Ricky Springer.
I think if he just held his line, he would have won, but Springer in the end gets the job done, and he doesn't even have to worry about being outside the top 20. He's got 2 wins to his name now in the season, in Atlanta and right here at Talladega.
Ricky Springer locks up. If there was any doubt, he has eliminated it completely. Do not worry, we will go back and we will watch that last lap. Ricky Springer, though, is going to celebrate here at Talladega with an insane last lap, last 100-yard pass for the win to lock up his 2nd win on the season.
Man, I'm still in shock from what happened. It took him that long to wreck. You know what? Eric Wyman was in the chat room with Delonte Ballard and Jake Nichols from Solar Flare. So that'll be an interesting one to listen in on.
I bet it will be. Before we get there, just let Ricky enjoy his burnouts there. All right, let's have a look at our race results real quick. We'll take you back to the replays here in just a moment. Ricky Springer, though, victorious here at Talladega. Jake Nichols, Jacob Bell, Seth Noel, Tommy Ryan, the rest of your top 5, Finian.
Yeah, just look how close the gaps are. I mean, obviously it's Talladega, but these guys are they're so close coming to the line. And it's great to see so many cars come flying to the line together, all trying to make moves on one another. Douglas Dubing, Brad Slaughter Jr., Alex Weaver coming back to 8th. Remember, he got significant damage to the nose of his car, so a great finish to come home in 8th. Rabel and Yoneshiba round out your top 10.
And looking down the rest of the order here, 11th through 20th. We want to get back to the replays as quick as possible. Delonte Ballard ended up 15th. Dom DeLeo 16th. Matthew Bell grabbed 19th and all that. And now look down the rest of the order. David Weishart 24th at the very, very end. And more drivers with some problems down here at the bottom of the order. There is your last page. Alan Vallecino, Seidenfeld, Scioli, and more out. Let's go back and have a look at the last lap there with Ricky Springer in command at the very end of it all. It was a wild turn number 4. Let's kick things off about half a lap prior to this on the back straightaway here.
Well, I thought they were wrecking right here. I couldn't believe how much
look at all the
these guys were. They're all pushing, leaning on each other. I'm thinking something's got to give here. Then it took all the way up until turn 3 where Beckner comes down, then trying to merge back up. And Springer's losing ground here.
Yeah, he was 5th coming off of turn 4, 6th actually.
Beckner on the bottom, that's what caused that big crash. Look at the ones move. Takes the 91 to school right here. I think he has this, though. I think you're right, Hunter, but bangs doors with the 91 once, twice, thrice, and then the 18 to the outside. And there is the one car backwards as they come to the start-finish line. That is pretty wild. That's how he crossed the line, backwards at 180 miles an hour.
That's a photo.
Yeah, the only one he had to worry about really was the 18 of Springer, but he's 2 lanes above. And it didn't seem like, as soon as he made the move down here on Nickel, it seemed like he had the job done and maybe protect the bottom. But I don't know why he kept leaning on the 91 here. He would have got it won if he just kept it on the bottom.
Yeah, they ended up killing each other's momentum so much that it slowed them, both of them, down enough just for Ricky Springer. You see how much of a run the 18 got at a great side drive off the 4, and with the 1 and the 91 slowing themselves down, he just had to jump to the outside, avoid making contact, losing his momentum. And you see right there, just the last couple 100 feet, that was all the 18 needed.
Wow, that was pretty wild. Eric Wineland, I think, has our audio from Solar Flare Racing. So, Eric Wineland, while we're watching replays here of the finish, you see you got Solar Flare Racing from turn 4 to the finish. Let's hear it.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Go on! Holy shit! Let's go!
Who got it? I don't know.
I got Ricky Springer won.
He already won it.
I got second.
T2
I got
Jake?
second.
Nice. Good job, Jake.
I'm a
Dang it, what happened, TK?
I got wrecked, bro.
Demont? Oh, no.
I think I turned Weishart.
That was Solar Flare Racing across the line. If Delonte made the playoffs, guys, that was shades of 2012. Brad Keselowski avoiding the big one off turn 4 coming to the checkered. Brad saved his car and he went on to win the championship that year. If Delonte made the playoffs, that could be his moment right there.
Well, let's talk to Jacob Bell. He came across the line in 3rd place in the number 77. Wild last lap. Cars spinning, sliding, crashing everywhere, Jacob. You were leading for a moment with about 2 laps ago, but come across the line P3, the car next to you backwards at 185. Take us through what you saw out the windshield of your number 77 Lodgebox car.
Yeah, man, that was a fun finish there. I didn't really anticipate having a shot at the win at all or anything like that tonight. Was just kind of more so coming in to try to help some of my teammates, but staying out on that last caution where we were close on fuel and just staying in the top 5 kind of afforded me the chance to go for the win there. And I thought for a minute Jake was gonna stick with me all the way, and I probably should have went to the middle lane in 3 and 4 on the coming to the white there, but just wasn't sure, if we wanted to stay top, go middle. There was runs all over the place, and then got shuffled back. And on that last lap, I think I was like 15th going into turn 3, and somehow got all the way back up to 3rd by the start finish. The runs in these things are just insane, but overall it's a great finish, but it doesn't really help me much for the playoffs or none of that stuff. So I'm more so curious to see how that all shakes out with my teammates and everybody else, just to see who ended up making it.
Well, still awaiting points here, Jacob. Congratulations, though. Started 29th. P3 is how you finish. congrats, and we'll see you next week at our first playoff round.
I appreciate it, man. And almost had the 0x2, but got in that wreck like right at the start-finish line. They gave me the 4x. But just shout out to everybody at JBR, Jordan Martin, Ed Robertson, and Ryan Hart's out there tonight. They did great. Lodgebox Developments, Wax Electric, and Rick's Hot Sauce as well. And definitely check out AreaRacing.shop. Got to throw that little support out there for them as well. So thank you guys for the broadcast, and see you guys next week.
All right, see you, Jacob. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Moving on now to second place, that was Jake Nichols, and he just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Tonight, second place after kind of running kind of in the middle of the front of the field. Jake, you almost stole that one away there at the very end, almost added an 8th win to your season, but you'll have to grab a second after some door banging and some 3-wide action to the checkers. Fun one to watch for sure, but had to be frustrating out the windshield there those last couple hundred feet.
I don't know about frustrating. I was aggressive the last 2 laps, like really aggressive, and I honestly should have kept to it entering the trial because I think that block for against Ricky was open, and he wouldn't have been able to go low or shoot top even more because he was already up against the wall. So I could have been more aggressive and probably stole it and had it, but I left that lane open just a tad, and he got there, and Seth and I were just door banging the whole straightaway, and it was wild, man. I don't know even what to say. I just took my time, just stayed safe most of the race, and saving fuel, and just getting to the last 20 laps. And man, I wanted to commit to Jacob there and tandem with him. I messaged him right before the restart saying, hey, let's go tandem time, let's go. I had tandem people away in practice and earlier in the race, so I knew I could do it, but we got hooked up and he ran the wall and Ricky had a run. I was like, I'm either going to stay here and commit and get side drafted and fall back, or I just got to make a move. And I went for it, and at that point I was just blocking like hell trying to stay in the lead. And I'll take a second. I wish the rest of our team could have had some like that luck. I had all the luck in the world in the last lap and a half, and I wish I could have shared to my teammates because a few of them got wrecked. But we'll take it for team points overall. I don't know. I think I'm going to be the only one in the playoffs on our team. So at this point, we're just looking for wins and trying to pull away steadily here as we get closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, it does look like that, unfortunately, Jake, in terms of your teammates. But a second place tonight will add to a really solid points season. Of course, 7 wins. Still trying to rack some up. The playoffs begin next week. We'll see you there.
Yeah, 10-4. Thank you.
Ricky Springer gets it done here at Talladega. Back to Atlanta was the last time that Ricky got one done. Ricky, you vaulted yourself to 10th in the point standings. Your last win came back in November. It is now January. A couple months later, here you are back in victory lane again. Congratulations. What a wild last lap. Slicing and dicing, swinging around the outside of 2 guys banging doors, and you come home by 0.05 of a second. Cars sideways, upside down behind you. Take me through what you saw with the mirror and the windshield.
I'm going to be honest, Kyle. I'm a little beside myself at the end of that one. I mean, from the beginning of that last lap, I got hung out to dry twice. I was just trying to go for a top 10. I needed to finish in the top 10 to make it into the playoffs, and that's all I needed. And you know how racing works. When you see that the leaders are pretty close, you want to go for it. And I shot it to the outside coming out of 4, and I did not think it was going to work. When they started banging doors, me and Jake got side by side, and I was like, at this point, I'm not going to run into him. If he gets into me, I understand it, and we're just going to drag race it out.
Well, you drag race it out. You beat him to the line. You get your second win on the season. Now, in terms of the championship picture, we're kind of getting a little bit of a reset here as we head into the playoffs. You got 2 wins to your name now. What's the goal here the next couple weeks?
Well, I like the way the playoffs start with a road course. I'm a big road course guy myself, so that kind of puts me in a better spot than I would normally be at a 1.5 miles. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. I mean, I'm elated that I got this Ghost Energy Toyota Camry into the playoffs in the first place. It's been a wild season, so where it plays out from here is kind of all God's will. But it was a great race, and it's been a great season so far.
Hey, Rick, you remember when your last top 10 was?
I'm gonna guess most likely it was the road course or Atlanta.
It was Atlanta where you last won.
Yep.
So, that'll add to your top 10s this season. Two firsts on top of a handful of top 10s, Ricky. Best of luck to you next week. Congratulations on a job well done slicing through there at the end.
Thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next time. All right, guys, wrapping things up. Eric Wineland, want to start with you. Wild finish there, but one of the drivers that did make it in, as we go through our playoff picture, the top 12 that will be competing in your playoffs, Jake Nichols, Ryan Hartz, Travis Beckner, David Weishart, Dom DeLeo, James Scioli, Michael Curran, Gabriel Ellison, Cosmin Yoneshiwu, Tyler Nichols. Wrong. I was using the old tab here, I think. Is that right? Hold on, I need to re-click your link.
Pocono.
Okay, I got it. Here's your top 12. Jake Nichols, Ryan Hartz, Travis Beckner, Dom DeLeo, David Weishart, Michael Curran, James Scioli, Cosmin Yoneshiwu, Gabriel Ellison, Ricky Springer, Alex Weaver, and 12th, Matthew Bell, Eric.
By 5 points, Matthew Bell. And the only way, we pointed this out in the production chat while we were going through those interviews, the only way that Matthew Bell made these playoffs was Ricky Springer. And Ricky Springer went out and won tonight, vaulted himself inside the top 12, which meant it just the top 12. That's all you needed to be at. There was no driver below 12 getting in on a win. And that gave a gift to the IRLC Motorsports Group with Alex Weaver and Matthew Bell getting in. In the words of my wonderful baseball coach as I was growing up, unbelievable what we just saw tonight, Kyle.
Good stuff. Finian, final thoughts here. 39 lead changes in 97 laps, 6 cautions, 18 different leaders. It was a fun one.
Oh, absolutely. It was a fantastic one. Also, to add at the point of Matthew Bell, it's almost like him getting damaged early was a bit of a blessing in disguise because he was damaged. He was off the pace. He came to the white flag in 29th, and because of that wreck, and because he was down on pace, he was able to avoid it and ended up finishing in 19th. So he just narrowly got himself in his playoffs. Curious to see what he can do. But yeah, fantastic race from Talladega. Hats off to everyone tonight. It was some fantastic stuff.
And Hunter, final thoughts here on Talladega before we kick the playoffs off next week.
Well, Talladega never disappoints. That one was very exciting all the way until the very end, quite literally. In the end, it was Ricky Springer getting the job done within the last, I think, couple hundred feet, maybe less than that. That just goes to show how quick things can change here at Talladega. It doesn't matter where you are on the track, how many laps you lead. All that matters is leading the last one. And Ricky Springer did just that within the last, I think, 100 feet, maybe even less than that.
He led 3 laps all night, and that was enough. Ricky Springer gets his second win on the season. We'll see you next week at our first playoff round. Playoffs kick off at Indianapolis Road, followed by Las Vegas, Auto Club Richmond, and Nashville to finish out your season at the tail end of February. We'll see you there next week, Indianapolis Road Course on January 23rd. We'll see you also tomorrow for the Area Truck Series for their cutoff race, and then on Thursday, same place, same time, Talladega for the Lodge Buck Series. Thanks so much. We'll see you later.